This video is sponsored by Death Trick Double Blind, a non-linear detective visual novel coming March 14th to Steam and Nintendo Switch. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Second Wind. Marty here, and honored to be joined by Frost and Darren. A little recap reunion. We're playing GoldenEye, but we're not really playing GoldenEye. We just want to talk about movies. We want to talk about TV. We want to catch up. We haven't seen each other in a long time. We realized the last time we were all on a call together was before Halloween. You know how much has changed then?
I think Darren's talked about all the Halloween movies since then.
Darren, you need to go run down column by column everything you've written since Halloween, and we could talk about it. So there you go.
Yeah, we just have an index we could just kind of scroll through. Yeah, I was looking at my most watched kind of letterbox things. Like, I have a lot. What have we watched since the last we talked section of this podcast may run a little long.
Sure. Sure. That's what we'll get before we officially launch our new entertainment show, which is in the works. We promise, coming soon. We were like, we can get a couple of these out of the way so that we can get some of the smaller things away. We could talk about our love of the Shai Hulud, our newfound love of the Shai Hulud. Darren has seen Dune so many times.
Six at that moment, and it's only been out a week and a half.
You could surely just buy extra popcorn buckets. You don't have to actually see it.
Do they have those popcorn buckets in Ireland?
They do not, unfortunately. I'm thinking about importing it. You're playing Frigate, is it?
No,
okay.
No. This was the loading screen. We're starting fresh from the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Look at us. Which Pierce Brosnan should we be? Pierce Brosnan 1, Pierce Brosnan 2. Did you know Frost rewatched the movie to get a little movie insight?
Well, we're not all gonna. I thought it was just me.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I can talk about GoldenEye off the cuff. It's one of the better Bond movies.
There you go.
I would argue.
Is this one of your favorite Bonds, though?
Brosnan. I have a soft spot for Brosnan. I think it's the fact that he is the one who seems like he's actually a sociopath. Like, because of the way that Brosnan's Bond movies are written, and they vary so dramatically in tone between like Sean Connery-esque seriousness. Like, you know, GoldenEye is like his best friend betrayed him. He has to contemplate his place in the universe. And then the next set of Bond movies are all like, no, but he really just loves killing people and machine gunning people full of rooms and throwing like old age pensioners into shredders. So like the vibe of Brosnan's Bond is like, this is a man dealing with a world that is complicated, nuanced, is no longer in a Cold War paradigm, but you know what? He's not going to bother him as long as he can just throw Elliot Price into a shredder.
I have a soft spot for this movie. I think the movie's good. I think I have a real soft spot because of the game. The game was a very important game for me when it came out on N64 in 97. But the rest of his movies, Tomorrow Never Dies, decent. World Is Not Enough, and then Die Another Day.
Wait, whose Diamonds Are Forever?
That's Sean Connery's last one.
Yeah.
That's the one where Sean Connery realizes the moon landing was staged.
Sure.
Oh, no.
And delivers the immortal line after meeting Plenty O'Toole, named after your father, I presume.
Which
That's
is a weird thing.
Line.
A weird pickup line is like, "Oh, your father had a big dick."
Yeah.
I've tried to use that one before. It doesn't work well, guys. It does not work well.
Like, what?
Which version is this? Says Lars. This is the Xbox version. So the HD version that has dual analog control. I tried to play on. They have the N64 port on Switch, and my monkey brain cannot revert back to the 90s. To play a shooter with a single analog stick, like it was impossible. And so I was like, I have to play the Xbox port. I just can't. I don't think I could speak and figure out how to play the game at the same time.
Man,
I like the prep you put into this.
I like putting. I like putting a little prep before streams. Not a lot of prep, just a little. Just like a tiny amount.
It helps with the butterflies in the stomach, having all that prepared, the contingency plan. It's a good time.
But the thing. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No. You.
I was just going to make the observation. You were running through the Brosnan Bond movies, and the thing is, the first one is, it's the 90s. Oh my God, Bond can't sexually harass women anymore. How are we going to deal with this? You have the moment where M calls it, is it a sexist, misogynist dinosaur, I think is the line. And I love that the rest of them are just like, Tomorrow Never Dies is like, oh my God, America has a new problem to deal with. China is going to war with Great Britain, the two greatest powers on the planet. It is so wonderfully retrograde. But then you get to the last two, which are, as you said, not great. It's The World Is Not Enough, which is like half a good Bond movie. But then they decide that like that half isn't really worth developing, and we want to have him fall in love with, is it Denise Richards at the end of the movie? Yeah. With one of the great/terrible Bond closing one-liners, where she's playing a scientist named Dr. Christmas Jones. Because obviously, if you're casting Denise Richards as a scientist, you want people to take her seriously, right?
This Christmas came early?
No, you're close, though.
Okay, what was the line?
I thought Christmas only came once a year.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What did I tell you? All of it, all the liners are just that's what she said. That's all it is. It's not sexual tension. It is a middle school humor of, like, the teacher just said, it's like, come to class now, and you both just realize what orgasms are, so you're just thinking, she said come.
But because he's in a bow tie, Frost, it's sophisticated.
Yeah, it's
humor.
fine.
It's the suit. It's the suit that does it.
And then obviously there's Die Another Day, which features a cameo from Madonna and James Bond surfing. It's the extreme sports Bond movie, the post like Fast and Furious Bond movie.
That was the one that had the car chase on the ice, right? Like the frozen lake or the ocean or whatever.
Yep, Lee Tamahori. It was like the 20th anniversary or the 25th anniversary, I think, of the franchise was the thing. And so they were like, we put in references to all of the Bond movies, so the movie makes no sense whatsoever.
It is. It destroys my brain that you just said that, because that means, like, would that ostensibly be the halfway point of the franchise to now? Or close-ish?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because in my mind, like 80% of Bond is Pierce Brosnan and before. But then it's just been
Pierce Brosnan and before.
Yeah, but I guess they've just put so much. They used to release them at just a much quicker cadence than now, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. It now takes like 5 years, maybe 10, to get a Bond movie made. Whereas like the reason that Sean Connery quit was it's like, can we do 2 of these a year? But yeah, the rate is though down. Sorry for us.
No, I was like, it was interpersonal. It was a tinier scale, right? As I was telling Marty, I feel like we've power crept because of things like the Expendables, and Fast and Furious. It's like these cars don't zoom as they should. Rewatching it, I was like, that explosion didn't seem as bombastic as it could have, right?
I think
also,
I still
come
think
a long way with like accent technology. The accents are kind of rough.
Yeah, the biggest technology of the world. I still think in GoldenEye the tank chase through St. Petersburg is very cool. Yeah, I still think that's a very cool
it still holds up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also just a great statement for the series where it's like, look, you may think we're going to be very tactful and sensitive about what post-war Russia is like, but no. He's going to ride a tank through St. Petersburg. All the subtlety of a brick. But like, that's the thing about the Brosnan Bonds, which I quite like, generally speaking. You asked how I feel about Brosnan's Bond. Mm-hmm. I do like that, the franchise has been in an existential crisis for, arguably the second half of its runtime.
Sure.
Where post-Cold War, there's a sense of what does Bond mean? Post-feminism, what does Bond mean? Yeah. Post the realization that colonialism is bad, what does Bond mean? Mm-hmm. Et cetera, et cetera. And, the Daniel Craig movies are very introspective about it. There's a lot of staring into middle distance, contemplating the morality of what he's doing, wondering if he's working for the good guys. I like that the Brosnan Bond movies broach the question gently and then are basically like, yeah, but he doesn't really care. Yeah. We're aware that these are all problems, but this guy doesn't care. Yeah. This guy has never been to a workplace seminar in his life.
No, there was a counselor, remember? He was driving with his therapist or something or other.
And then do you remember how that ends?
Does he sleep with the therapist?
Of course he does. Of course. Yeah. You're overcompensating. You're showing off your engine, if you were.
Yeah.
Let me get some of these out the way here. With the $5. Darren, your 250 podcast has 0 monetization. Can you please set up a Ko-Fi and advertise it on your podcast so I can send you and Andrew? It's guilt-free media.
Oh, it is. Darren, it is guilt-free media.
Yeah, Darren, let's just go in there and like have a seat. Just don't put your feet up on the coffee table, you know. And Fungus with the $2. Let's get this 12-hour mega stream started. Yeah, 12 hours.
Wait a minute, what? We have another stream at 3, so I don't think this could be 12 hours.
What is the objective here? Are you planning to get to the end of this?
No, it's. I'm gonna be honest. It's the objective of every one of our streams, which was get to 2 hours and end. just don't die. Not even my character. I don't care if my character dies. Just me personally. Yeah. I don't want to die by the time the stream is done in 2 hours. So as long as that works out, then we're fine.
Last man out gets the stream.
Yeah.
I remember this where it's like if you blow up Sean Bean here, you fail the mission. And I remember feeling very disappointed. I was like, I think I've solved the movie. This game would be over much, much quicker.
It's a time paradox. You can't do that. You create a time paradox.
Yeah. You just blow up the proximity mine next to Sean Bean, and then the credits roll at the end, and it's like, well done, you've finished the movie.
If you played the game but not watched the movie, is that like a major spoiler? For
sugar. Good point.
I'm gonna be honest. I think the statute of limitations on this one, game and a movie, might be up.
Even for the time, because like when did Mission Impossible come through? I was like, okay, I'm sensing this theme of if my partner dies too early, he's not actually dead. He's betrayed me.
Yeah,
I mean, the first Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
but the Emilio Estevez thing was obviously a huge. That was a real neat rug pull.
That's also, it's just at this point, had Sean Bond, did he have the reputation for dying in all of his films? Because if he did,
I don't think most people knew who he was at this point, right? Like I don't know.
He was sharp. Thank you very much.
I don't know what that means. Are you just referring to him as sharp, like as a compliment?
Yeah, he's a very sharply dressed man.
Oh yeah.
No, there was a serial on British television, Sharp. It was an adaptation of a series of historical novels where he was a character literally called Sharp, but with an E, so it was sophisticated.
Oh, Sharpie.
Sharpay. No, but that's French, you see, and you don't get that on British television under no circumstances.
Absolutely not.
But he was, again, this is the thing where you mentioned the changes in the Bond franchise. Mm-hmm. The fact that part of like getting them out so quickly was the fact that they were these little British films. I mean, Frost mentioned the idea of like blockbuster creep going in there. Is this explosion big enough? You're not going to get a slide whistle over any of the car stunts in the modern Bond films, for better or for worse.
The answer is for worse. It's absolutely for worse. Also, can we talk about that? How this like secret lab just has a bunch of fucking like U-Haul boxes, like.
They never show that, do they? It's always so clean. Where's the slop? Where's, like,
I like that. I lived in an apartment for a few years, and I was like, listen, this place is trans. I'm going to be moving soon. I might as well not unpack. And then several years went by, and I'm like, I feel like I should have unpacked at some point.
I was like, how soon for you? Because I did that for 2 years. I was living out of a suitcase, and I did eventually leave, but I never unpacked.
We all leave eventually. We're all gonna die eventually. So if you want to be like, oh, it's not worth unpacking, that doesn't.
I just don't want to be trouble like this. That's why I sleep in like a cross-handed position in case I go in my sleep. I'm not too much bother to get in the casket.
You go.
When rigor mortis sets in, you don't have to worry about breaking anything.
Speaking of future Bonds, I saw some reports out of South by Southwest, the entertainment festival going on in Austin right now. It was the premiere of Monkey Man, the Dev Patel's directorial debut, which I didn't realize was originally going to go straight to Netflix, and Jordan Peele apparently saw it and was like, this can't go straight to Netflix, this is too fucking good, and like bought the rights back to it from Netflix, or at least financed to have it go to theaters. I believe, isn't it? Yeah. But anyways, a lot of people seeing that are like, this is only adding fuel to the fire of get Dev Patel for Bond, which I think would be great. I think he's wonderful.
It is. I do kind of wonder about, like, is Bond the one guy who should probably remain a white dude?
I think so.
Yeah, that's a question. Like,
even if you were to say, like, what if we made Bond Latino? I was like, the whole point is this man's supposed to blend in. Melanin just
not even blend in, but he represents this like colonial, like part of the thrill of the Bond movies is the weird sense of like, am I rooting for this guy? And I say this as an Irishman, and the fact that we had an Irishman play him is kind of, again, adds to the complicated feelings around it. But you're like, no, this man is an agent of imperial power, like, and continues to be. As we mentioned, the movie after GoldenEye is like, what if the two greatest powers of our times went to war? China and Britain.
The big two. The big two.
Yeah, the big two. There's a moment where the stupid CIA operative, I think it's Wade, is like, the president's very nervous about this. This could make the U.S. president's job a lot harder. And it's like, yeah, because he's waiting for your cue on this.
Yeah, definitely. Second in line. I don't know. I think you could do with the right writer, with the right angle. Like, I don't know. God, the Bond gone woke conversations would be fucking insufferable.
Maybe you guys don't remember this because, I mean, it's again, very British franchise. Mm-hmm. Do you remember the controversy over him being blonde?
Yeah.
For Craig?
Blonde, blue eyes. He's too pretty, this Bond. I was like, you know, remember Connery? You know, like they're all very pretty. Pierce Brosnan too. I was like, what up? It might be because I watched Castaway with Tom Cruise. He's not Irish, but I was like, he's a very pretty farmer.
But also, like Daniel Craig is like, he's extremely handsome, but he's weird looking in a good way. He's weird. Like he's got a weird face, like in a really good way. Like the lawyer from the good guy lawyer from Anatomy of a Fall. He's weird looking. But he's like in a really good way, like Vincent Cassel. I like these guys with weird faces. They got weird faces.
I don't know that I would say Vincent Cassel is weird looking. I think I'd just say he's good looking.
Oh no, I think he's weird, but weird in good. He's not like traditional. He's not like a Hemsworth.
Okay. Are you using weird as synonymous for European? Is that
Ooh. Oh no. Have I? Oh no. Frost, let's take it to Super Chats. Frost.
Super Chats. So it's here. Bubba's Big Blast for 1 month, the Green Gang. Will we get clobbering time? Please say we will, as in Fantastic Four?
No, as in the hit gun, the Clob in this game. A notoriously shitty gun, but named after Ken Lobb. One of the producers on the game. If I find it, we'll get clobber in time. I hate the Clob, though, if I'm being honest.
Well, too much.
Well, it's one of the first ones you can dual wheel, right?
You could dual wheel the Clob. Yeah, because there's only certain guns, just like real life. No, there's not only certain guns, because you can like dual wheel rocket launchers, I think, which you can't do.
If you're strong enough, you know, you could do it. That's the whole thing with Terry Crews, is holding up two AA-12 shotguns. Only he has the arms for that. Those would just rip mine clean off after one shot.
I do love the idea. Do you love the idea of getting Old Painless, 2 Old Painlesses from Predator, and just Jesse Ventura straining?
I'm now starting to worry that for my whole life I've been describing people as weird, and that just might be European. And I also just killed that man. I just killed an innocent.
Looking, this guy. Oh no! You historically don't like Europe.
Me? I love Europe. What? You can't just say I historically don't like.
You historically do not imbibe in European culture the same way you do other cultures, just in general.
Are you just calling me a weeb?
Catches you off guard.
No.
Because you like Poland as well.
No. You know? My main thing is whenever I stream with Yahtzee will always casually mention some like British series from the 80s as like a thing I should know, and I'm like, that's just a very specific pop culture reference that honestly sounds kind of made up.
Yeah, but name some 80s Japanese stuff that you know, Marty.
Listen, I just want to talk about Macross, my Robos.
It's just a little imbalance when you know all that and not like, say, Father Ted, you know.
But I don't.
Be fair, if you had to pick one continent not to be completely engaged with or okay with, I feel like Europe is the one to go for.
No,
that's probably
great food. What are we talking about? Pierogies, pizza.
Oh, it's not. Well,
we got corned beef coming up. We got St. Patty's Day. Corned beef and cabbage. Oh my god, I'm very excited.
Yeah. That's how I know holidays are coming. My supermarket announces it and puts all the food. Here, have your corned beef, have your cabbage right now.
Oh, there he is. Sean Bean.
Have a Guinness.
Oh, yeah. There's our man. Look at that face.
Sean Bond.
Surprising likeness, I have to say.
They had famous, I believe it was for the follow-up Perfect Dark, which was not based on a movie, but was built on the same engine. They wanted to implement technology to where you could use the Game Boy camera to take a picture of your face and then put your face on like your multiplayer character or something.
Oh no!
And they got it working, and people were like, "Oh, this is pretty good." And then supposedly the reason they got rid of it was after Columbine, because they were like, "Ooh, we can't have kids putting their faces on." But like the sort of the urban legend is that someone informed Miyamoto that you could take a picture of your penis and then have penis characters just running around. And Miyamoto was like, we can't have that on my sweet Nintendo console. And so I like to think that apocryphally that's the reason. Also, I shot that man several times and he's not dead. What's his deal? He must be the strongest.
I think he's a main character. So I think it's very important that he appears in the later level.
We can't create a time paradox. He's not. He's one of those guys. I don't know who the actor is though, because he's not. Obviously, Alan Cumming plays what's his name? I am invincible, Boris.
Boris. Yes.
Robbie Coltrane plays the one dude you meet up with.
Yeah. Who reappears in The World Is Not Enough.
That's right.
Yeah.
And kind of reappears in The Brothers Bloom.
Yeah, Hogwarts.
I like to pretend.
Which is technically part of the continuity.
I like to pretend, yeah. Okay, Frost and I were talking about this the other day. Frost is not on Ryan Johnson's wavelength.
Okay.
But he has not seen Brothers Bloom, and I think Frost would really like the Brothers Bloom.
You're thinking, see, because I've watched so much Ryan Johnson, but it's only Looper that vibes with me, because that's the only time his camera trickery works, where his whole plot hinges on the fact that, like, if I had zoomed the camera out 5 feet, you would have seen the woman in the bathroom. You would have seen me behind the wall going, oh, what did I just hear?
At the very least, you need to watch. I failed. Destroy All Dollar Drinks.
God damn it, Marty.
Well, I don't have to. I don't have to do it again, do I?
You're not the next Bond.
Son of a bitch!
I
failed.
This is how they audition them. I love the idea that when the Broccolis want to figure out if you're going to be Bond, they take you into a dark room.
I wasn't paying attention.
You have to clear.
It's like Men in Black, isn't it?
I wasn't paying attention. At the very least, Frost, you need to watch. Have you seen Brick? Because Brick is pretty much his cold take of the film.
See, it's a bit of noir, so I feel like I should, eh?
Yeah, it is cold take. It is just it's a neo noir.
It's high school noir. It's great.
It's great. Yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Maybe he does it.
Blazing in the movie.
Work.
I saw Brick and I was like, JGL is absolutely going to win an Oscar in the next 15 years. And I'm going to be honest, I was mistaken. But I think he's great. I just think he should be in better stuff.
I think he does what makes him happy, and that is enough for him.
Yeah, I guess we all don't need it. We all don't need to chase our Oscar bait like Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, I mean, there's an actor who has definitely been like, I want to be in blockbusters and Oscar bait. I do kind of love him. No?
Oh, go ahead.
No comedies, and what we got here? A Winged Potato, $4.99. Top 3 Bond movie with possibly the best supporting characters in the series history. Also, one of very few multiplayer games where I memorized all the maps. Talking GoldenEye.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna blaze through.
I mean,
I'm gonna figure out what to do.
This is peak me playing video game stuff. So obviously, I played this. I played Perfect Dark.
Yeah.
Like I remember Rareware.
Yeah.
This is where I'm worried that I'm boring you guys with my basic takes. But what happened with Rare? They got bought by Microsoft, didn't they?
Yeah, and so they've been working for like the last 8 years primarily on an ongoing game called Sea of Thieves, which is like a cartoonish pirate game. We actually did a streaming series last year where like 4 of us played and got a ship, and it's fun. It's a very like sort of camaraderie. Everyone get on the ship and you hoist the sails and you man the jib. I don't know what any of those words mean, but
man the jib.
Yeah, I bought a dog for our ship, and Nick made fun of me, but our dog was like I bought a dog with real money. Like I bought a $5 dog.
Well, okay, so actual like transaction,
human money, but the dog provided a lot of enjoyment, so I think it was worth it personally. But yeah, they've been relegated to doing that.
Oh, so I guess you were sailing the wolf seas, as it were.
Oh, I see what you're doing there.
This is why I got launched out.
Yeah, Nick kept firing my dog out of a cannon, which I thought, as a dog owner, was rude of him. But,
that's interesting. Nick would do that.
I'm just saying.
Says nothing of his character.
Yeah.
John Brooks, though, with the £10 Bond trivia for you. The next Bond will be the first not to serve Queen Elizabeth II, as even the books were published in her reign. Also, Timothy Dalton was my favorite, grossly underused Bond.
Is that true?
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
That makes sense.
He was around for 100 years, just like her mother.
Yeah. Which is incredible. But yeah, Timothy Dalton, big fan actually, quite fond of Dalton's Bond. The one that was closest to the books, as far as I remember. For my sins, I have read all of the Ian Fleming books. They're fascinating because they are very obviously, first of all, they're very much products of their time and are like incredibly racist. Live and Let Die somehow is even really Live and Let Die.
What? No. You said they're for their time and very racist. I was like, oh, my favorite.
Oh yeah,
I love to think that's racist for its time.
The qualifications, yeah, racist for its time.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. Don't worry, guys. It's racist
even
for its
in
time.
the context.
Even racist then we're going with him.
Yeah.
Ain't like no liberal, but
this is a bridge too far.
Yeah. Somehow, like the Live and Let Die, the movie is a vast improvement. If they made Live and Let Die the movie today, you'd have people complaining that it was quote unquote woke because of all the changes that they made from the source material. And that is a movie that features a literal voodoo sorcerer in it. But
was that the Baron Samedi?
The Baron Samedi, yeah. The thing with the novels is that they're lifestyle guides. Like you read them and they're very much like fantasies. Yeah, they're fantasies of what it is like to be a rich person who mostly gambles with other people's money, has really good taste in liquor, and enjoys the male shaving routine. I remember like being 8 years old and learning how to shave from a James Bond book. That's the extent to which these are.
So
lifestyle
modern Bond
guides.
would just be like an influencer.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Probably some kind of bougie.
Cutting into a Manscaped ad halfway through his mission.
Learn how to tie a tie with the book. Yeah.
He's looking like in the book. He works in a job that allows him to sleep with women who are married because there's no attachment to it. That gives him money that is not his own. If I remember correctly, there are points in the book where he like literally just takes government money to the casino, wins a bunch of it, and then gives back whatever he took, and is like, the rest is mine. I get to keep that.
I think that's
that
great.
is for James.
I think I like that. I like the idea of a finder's fee. No, don't cancel the mission. Just tell me what to do. Destroy all the tanks in the bottling. I thought I did destroy all the tanks, and I don't know why the game was.
The Bond watch. Love it.
Bond watch. It's a good watch.
In case why he's out there on the field and say, what's it? Shag a dame. Say shag a bad guy, save dame. No.
Oh, nope.
Let me just check the notes here.
Damn it, Q. Not again. And Denmark, remember, for 3 months, tip jar and Sir George Lucas 100 bits. Should I give Spectre and Skyfall a watch? Are they any good? I like Casino Royale. Is a little Craig David? No, David Craig?
Daniel Craig?
Craig.
I'm pretty sure Craig David's a rapper.
Yeah, Craig David is
a hip
hop artist.
Skyfall's incredible.
Gatsby's been rubbing off on you.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Skyfall is incredible. Yes, you should watch Skyfall.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Yeah. Spectre is a mess of a movie. Spectre is the one where they like. So the issue with the Craig movies, very quickly, is basically they initially decide they're going to do an arc. They're going to do a long-form story arc, and it's going to be like, you will follow the evolution of this character over 5 movies. Mm-hmm. So Quantum of Solace is a direct sequel to Casino Royale. Yeah. To the point where it is arguably an extended, like, post-credit scene. Mm-hmm. It's 88 minutes long, and it's like, what happens after the credits? That does not do well. So Skyfall, they're like, okay, fresh start. We're just going to do a generic Bond movie starring Daniel Craig. That does phenomenally. And all of a sudden they're like, okay, but wait, hear us out here. What if the original idea of doing 5 interconnected Bond movies was actually good?
Yeah.
And Spectre is like, what if we try to retrofit all the stuff that we did into this gigantic mess of continuity while also being a sequel to Skyfall? It is a fascinating mess of a movie.
Yeah, so definitely give those a watch. I'd say there's some films, it's best to watch them while you're in the heyday. You know, because like right now, it's hard to go back to a Citizen Kane. Some of these Bond films are a little harder to go back to, but I'm sure I'll feel this way later about Skyfall. Of like, oh man, this hasn't gone too well. So enjoy them now before the technology.
I don't know, man. Skyfall, I think, is going to be was shot by Roger Deakins, right? Like that's that's just like a gorgeous.
I like
movie.
a nice intimate poker scene, right?
Sure.
Whichever Bond movies have more poker in them, I like.
All right, Balatro boy. Cool.
Because Casino Royale is for you then, which I love. In the book, he's playing Baccarat, but in the movie, they're like that.
No one knows what that game is.
Sophisticated. So he's going to go to this incredibly lavish casino where they're all wearing tuxedos and play Texas Hold'em.
Yeah. So the audience knows whether you're winning or losing, right?
Yeah.
It needs that tension. It's like in the GoldenEye scene where he's clicking at the pen. fidgeting with it, and I lost track. I was like, well, the suspense is gone now because I forgot to keep track.
It's like a 3-card Monty, and you're like, I blinked, and everything's different
I'm
now.
out. Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm out. So it lets you stay there with him the entire time because he has multiple skills. The things they never show you about James Bond is how he got those skills, right? Imagine, for the skills that he has, he's had to put 100 hours into salsa dancing, 100 hours into playing poker, or 1,000. What is it? 10,000 to be a pro.
10,000 hours.
That's what Jordan says.
Gladwell code, isn't it? Yeah.
Like, give me a young Bond where he's just going through training and screaming, "I'm tired, Grandpa." That's too damn bad.
Damn it, Albert Finney. That part, I believe, was written for Connery, if I remember correctly.
Which part?
Was it
the Albert Finney part was? Really?
The Albert Finney part, I believe. I don't know. Now I've heard rumors or I've seen it cited. I don't know if it's true.
Oh, I make up fun facts a lot. So that's fine. You can make up fun facts. People like, even if a fact isn't true, as long as it's fun, people are fine with it.
Yeah. That's true. Who needs
spreading misinformation on the internet?
Yeah, but it's like wholesome misinformation.
Like when I was a boy, my uncle could only lie to me and all the other children, but on the internet now, everyone's lying uncle.
Yeah.
It's great. It's amazing. And fill my ass up with the 50 knocks. We all got our favorite Bonds, but who is your favorite Bond girl? I quite liked Halle Berry. Quite liked me Halle Berry.
Almost got a spin-off.
Really?
Almost.
Yeah, Jinx. They're working on a spin-off. Yeah, I mean that is one of the all-time awful supporting actress wins, where it's like your career is over now.
Yeah,
it's like
this could be recency bias, but I thought Ana de Armas was incredible in
that one scene of No Time to Die.
Yeah, God, I literally forgot. Yeah, that scene was like incredible. That was probably my favorite scene of the movie, and I thought she was wonderful. I
have a soft spot for. Even just based on the name, Xena Onatopp, it is only slightly less overt than Pussy Galore.
Yeah.
But Famke Janssen,
she's great.
That was just that's what she said the whole time. He even looks at her on top.
But again, this is one of those, like, it's the 90s now. We have to deal with feminism, so women can be on a top now, and it's like, okay, but just so we're clear, he's going to strangle her with a helicopter at the end.
However, we will have one of the top 2 fights inside of a sweat lodge, with number 2 being Eastern Promises, which is a very different sweat lodge, right?
Like over and over though, like all the scenes with him and the women, it's always like, have you ever go into the writer's room and you go, have you ever seen a woman orgasm? And he goes, no. Well, write anything else that you think might fit that description. Okay. That is like to be it.
Well, that is the wonderful retrograde. We talked about the retrograde sexual politics of Pierce Brosnan's Bond. Her final line is, I think, "This time, Mr. Bond, the pleasure is all mine." And Bond is like, nope. Just so we're clear, I am not that much of a modern man.
What's this then?
Christmas only comes once a year. It's because I'm very bad at what I do, and I don't really care.
Every time. SVS, €5. I prefer the Mitchell and Webb version, where instead of playing poker, they were guessing the weight of pies. Well, that sounds like
who's Mitchell and Webb?
It sounds like Hercule Poirot or something.
They did the classic "Are We the Bad Guys" sketch. So they're the pair.
I don't know what that is. I just know the "Are We the Baddies." I don't know what that is from.
Oh, that's from a sketch in that Mitchell and Webb. Yeah, it's basically they're playing Nazis, and they're like, so we dress all in black, and it's like, yep. And our uniforms have like lightning bolts on them. Yep. And our caps have like metal skulls on them. And it's like, it's like, are we the bad guys?
Just going through their existential crisis. Are we the baddies?
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not the skull. It's a Aryan skull, the perfect symmetrical Aryan skull.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But yeah, they used to do Peep Show as well, which is one of the early breaks for Olivia Colman. We go. So that's the easiest way to get there. So they had a sketch comedy show. I think, did they have the sketch comedy show afterwards that Mitchell and Webb look?
I'm not sure.
For a second, I got Mitchell and Webb confused with Mark Webb, and I thought we were talking about like 500 Days of Summer and Amazing Spider-Man.
And the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Turns out we weren't talking about those. Yeah, because no one's ever talking about those.
How do you have a guy named Webb direct 2 Spider-Man movies and it just disappear from public consciousness?
They'll bring it back. He'll do Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield. He'll fight fucking Tom Hardy. It'll be terrible. It'll be fine.
So good. It's the only thing holding those up. It's Tom Hardy there.
Here's the thing, like, what do you reckon Sony pitched that idea, but they also figure out that they can't convince Emma Stone to come back,
No.
but they read that interview where Kirsten Dunst was like, "Yeah, I'll happily do it for enough money."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Okay, here's the pitch: Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, Kirsten Dunst, Mary Jane. That's the movie."
They go to Sydney Sweeney. They're like, "Hey, can you still not afford a down payment on a house? Because God knows Dakota Johnson's not going to be in this movie."
I still say, for all that Sony are like, she sank the movie, put her on a DVD commentary with a bunch of mimosas or whatever.
Oh my God!
That's
could
$1
you
billion
imagine?
in the bank.
Could you imagine?
No, it's just, but the poor thing. The whole time they're interviewing her and asking her, it's like, I don't know. It's probably awful. The movie's probably just trash.
I think she was having a great time on the press tour. Like, I think she's either the most aware or the least aware. And regardless, she seems very happy.
She had said, "Was like, oh, I'm so happy to be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe," and all the fans were like, "Oh, no one's told her."
Yeah, her agent was like, "It's a Marvel. You're part of a Marvel Cinematic Universe."
It's a Marvel movie, but not one of those. You're not going to be in Endgame 4.
You know Spider-Man, right? Yeah. Well, he's not going to be in the movie.
No, he's not.
But
No.
Just keep him in mind.
You know Spider-Man's mom? Oh no, you don't? Well, she's in the movie.
He's around there. There you go.
By Emma Roberts. Which, again, you have to imagine the pitch of that, where like Emma Roberts goes in for a meeting at Sony and they're like, "We want you to play Spider-Man's mom," and you're like, "Great, am I going to have a character arc?" No. Am I going to get to do anything? No. So what am I going to do? You're going to host a baby shower, and that's about it. You're going to be in the backseat of the car.
That's it. I don't need the spotlight. Just give me those weird little side shoot characters that you think about. Like, what was that scene? Why were they there? I don't know.
Who, the people I just killed, or the people at the baby shower?
Oh, the baby shower.
They were there to celebrate the birth of a baby. That's what a baby shower is like.
I'm talking about like Emma Roberts specifically.
Oh,
are you happy with this role?
Living life is expensive. And to be honest, living is expensive. I don't bemoan anyone taking a paycheck.
Yeah. But again, you have to imagine, like, when she's pitched, "You will be Spider-Man's mom." You're like, "Oh, great!" Like Sally Field. That nice. Yeah. You're like,
Marissa Tomei.
Yeah.
$2 billion movies.
I'm gonna be. Yeah, that's it. Well, that's it. Like, when you say we're putting you in a Spider-Man movie, every actor in Hollywood just hears, "Oh, you mean the two last ones that made $1 billion apiece?" And you're like, "Yeah, like those, like those."
Yeah, absolutely. Craven will bring everything back, though. It's fine.
Oh,
we're getting into Craven season.
I need it. Craven.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a non-zero chance that Craven is the best superhero movie this year. That's not an endorsement of Craven.
I mean, isn't it by default? Like, what else is it going up against? There's no MCU movie, right?
Oh, Deadpool 3 might.
Deadpool. Man, let me tell you. The further I get away from them and on rewatches and stuff, I don't like either of the Deadpool movies, and I don't know what's going to happen here. I love Hugh Jackman.
I didn't like them then. It's middle school humor. I don't know. Ryan Reynolds playing a character. He's just there. Little puns here and there. It is also GoldenEye quippery. What can you do with it?
GoldenEye quippery.
I will say, to be fair, I have a soft spot for the two Deadpool movies. I don't think they're amazing. I don't think they're fantastic. I think the reception of them was somewhat overblown. But I do think they work reasonably well as, like, the spiritual successor of 80s action movies, where the crapness is kind of the point. Where it's like, this guy is going to save an adorable kid. That could just be a Crocodile Dundee movie, like.
I think I might like it better if they were Crocodile Dundee movies.
That's fair. Yeah.
I like Boris.
He's taking his time there, isn't he?
I like Boris's drip right now. I appreciate it. I like the shirt. I like the shorts. I think he looks
just
great.
like him.
Particularly in Siberia, it's a bold choice.
Dressing like a hipster, like a summer hipster in Siberia. Yeah. There's so many dudes here.
I also just like that he's very casual. He has a certain energy. You know?
See, we should have known he was behind it all. Because he's in Russia, but he's got very like American regalia about him.
Yeah.
It's like, I should have known you were going to turn on us. 100 biddies from George Lucas. What says you?
No, you're following him to the main street. You're meant to follow him back. Don't go out there, Marty. I think, okay.
What do you mean follow him back? I'm following him.
Okay, all right. You just said take him to the mainframe. Okay, anyway, never mind.
He said, I said take me to the mainframe, and I assumed well, I don't know why I assumed the mainframe was outside. I don't think that's how mainframes work.
Maybe we should check the watch. Maybe this is like a You're standing in a room full of dead bodies.
I picked up the GoldenEye key.
There you go. That may have been an objective.
Can we talk about? I knew I was the in terms of
photograph main video screen. There you go.
In terms of our core gaming content, folks, I knew I was the worst at games here, and I like how I'm now learning I'm worse at games than Darren. And I'm like, oh, that's not great. Not an insult to you because I assume you're good at everything. Exposed to him. No, I'm just okay. I have to pull out my camera. Right?
Yeah, I think you have to select it from the watch
from the
menu.
Watch?
Keep in mind that you may want to kill those guys first. But
I now want.
That, I actually played this game. Is the thing. This is you picked the one game I have any actual.
You also
with.
I feel like you have a good memory, whereas I have an increasingly worryingly bad memory.
Oh.
Okay.
Now there we go. So let's scroll camera up to the camera. Now, have you selected that? Can you unpause? There you go. Now just press
objective B complete. And then I need to copy the key, so I think I need to go to my key copier.
Yeah, it's just like in the movie.
Key analyzer?
I do love the idea that there's all these guards standing around while you're just checking your watch going, it would be unsportsmanlike for us to continue shooting.
It would be rude. Analyzing the GoldenEye key.
There you go.
Still analyzing.
Yep. Can't use any guns, apparently.
Oh, objective completed. Perfect.
Okay.
I don't need the objective anymore.
Oh, no, I ducked.
Oh? Dolphin diving?
Dolphin diving? What is that? Oh, look, I got dual clobs.
You got clobs.
Whoever wanted dual clobs
earlier,
time.
It's clobbering time.
Speaking of, what do you think of the fantastic forecasting? Was that just a nothing? Or was that you don't have any opinions?
Again, it's they keep putting more talent in irredeemable roles. Only the Human Torch is allowed to have a proper career afterwards.
I like all four of the people they cast.
It does, but it also feels like a step down. I love Pedro Pascal, and he is America's new dad, which is great. But it does feel a little bit like a step down from a year ago when they were like, we're getting Adam Driver and Margot Robbie. You can kind of tell that at some point Disney were like, okay, well, your budget has gone. Can you do it without one of the zeros? What if we just remove one of the zeros? We're not going to tell you which one, but one of those zeros isn't in your casting pool anymore.
I don't even know what those are supposed to be. What they should do is format them very like How I Met Your Mother, very Friends, very like Seinfeld, just guys trying to live in this economy and figure out what to do with these superpowers.
You know what I discovered at the Oscars? So, Human Torch is being played by Joseph Quinn. Is that his name? Joe Quinn?
I believe so.
I believe he's dating Lupita Nyong'o. And I'm like, oh my god.
Is that not Joshua Jackson?
No, they were together at the... Well, they were together at the... I think he kissed her at the Oscars, so I hope it's not Joshua Jackson.
Well, that's one way for him to find out. Okay.
Wait, am I wrong? I thought I saw him kiss. Maybe I just had sneaky eyes.
Oh, okay. They're just friends, apparently. Apparently, Joshua Jackson
and Lupita Nyong'o are just friends?
Oh, no, they confirmed a relationship after breakups. So I guess it's bad news for Mr. Flame, Mr. Torch.
Wait, I swear I saw him kiss on Sunday. What's happening? I got to rewatch the Oscars now. I got to see what's going on.
Okay, so Lupita Nyong'o brings Joseph Quinn as Oscars date, right?
Yeah.
But Joshua Jackson and Lupita Nyong'o confirmed their romance with a whole lot of PDA.
When was that, though?
That was a week ago, so either she moves very fast, I'm gathering.
Maybe sometimes I see two people next to each other, and I'm like, they're probably kissing. I'll just infer. It's like I'll read the first couple words of a sentence, and I'll be like, they're probably... I got the rest of the sentence. I don't need anything else. You don't kiss your homies? That's true. You can kiss your homies. That's fine.
Tuck the homies in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darren, what did you think of the Oscars? Obviously,
I thought it was actually pretty good.
It was the rare Oscar where I couldn't complain about the result of literally any award. I mean, aside from short films, which I didn't watch, but every movie I was like, a good movie, even the Best Picture nominees, like the Maestros, like the ones I liked the least. I still thought were pretty good movies, not offensively bad, like a Green Book or anything like that. So I was thrilled.
Is so good.
Well, you know what you're gonna love? You're gonna love. What's the new John Cena movie? Turk Tickler, or what's the Amazon John Cena movie? Isn't that by the Farrelly brothers?
Ricky
Stenicki.
The Farley brother. I want you to know that the other Farley brother. So it's what? It's Pete and Bob, isn't it, or is it?
I don't.
Peter Farley.
They're not individuals to me, which is a terrible thing to say, but they're just.
But like the Coen brothers, they kind of split up, but they each did their own thing. So obviously Peter Farrelly did Green Book and won an Oscar, and he followed it up with like The Greatest Beer Run Ever, which is like the Zac Efron, is it Iraq or Afghanistan kind of like dramedy. And I love that his brother was like, well, I can do that too, and was like, Woody Harrelson, you're going to star in a movie where you coach a special needs basketball team, but don't worry, it's going to be light and fun, and you're not going to be that far removed from the character you played in Kingpin.
But don't worry, everything's going to go terribly.
What movie was that?
Champions.
Champions, that's right.
I like my feel-good sports films, but that one, I missed that one. Wow.
It is very feel-good. It is, in the 90s, we might have gone, that was well-intentioned. Is probably how we would have described it. It does star, what's her name, from Always Sunny, who plays Dee?
I just know her as Dee.
I just call her Dee.
So yeah, some actors, like, unfortunately, are just their characters.
Caitlin Olsen.
Caitlin Olsen.
There you go. They're not related to the Olsen twins.
No. But related to Elizabeth.
Related.
She's Elizabeth Olsen's twin.
Oh. Yeah. There you go.
Elizabeth Olsen is the sister of the Olsen twins, which is something that blew my mind when I discovered it.
She looks like her. She looks like the Olsen twins. It's like if the Olsen twins like fuse like in Dragon Ball, separate two characters can fuse in Dragon Ball, like Goku and Vegeta can make Gogeta. Elizabeth Olsen is Ashley and Mary-Kate fusing together.
It always throws me off whenever you have like when you hear of the not lesser, but the less popular sibling.
Sure.
Like hearing that, what is it? Tom Hanks' brother does all his Tom Hanks voiceover work.
No.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't even remember his name. Shoot.
But it's like the third Hemsworth is the thing. Like it's not even like there's obviously Chris, and then you're like, well, Liam. That's the disappointing one. You're like, no, there's Luke.
I liked Luke in. I thought he was good in
Westworld.
In Westworld, yeah.
And
we don't need to talk about. We don't need to talk about the third Nolan. We've already litigated the third Nolan. Oppenheimer himself.
The Google whack on Oppenheimer, which is
What do you think? Obviously, Christopher Nolan has a blank check. What do you think he does? I mean, obviously it's unpredictable. Like, what would you? I know you would just be like, just keep doing what you're doing. But like, what would you like to see? What sort of direction? What genre? Like what? Like vague thing do you want to see Nolan do next?
I suspect, like, roughly the way that it breaks down is he does a fun movie and he does a serious movie. So he does, Interstellar, and then he does Dunkirk, and he does, then he does Tenet. And fair point.
Yeah, I mean, fair point.
More conventionally awards fairy, and one that is, more genre-y. I do love that by this measure, The Dark Knight Rises is an awards movie, if you go by this logic. But, and, obviously The Dark Knight nearly was.
Yeah.
But, I kind of suspect you'll get a fun one, in inverted commas, a high concept one next. I've got no idea what it'll be. It's going to be big because he's got the blank check, he's got the budget. It's probably going to be with Universal, I reckon. I know Warner's have been trying to win him back, but trying to get just in terms of genre. Like is it going to be another noir action movie? Is it going to be Western themed? I don't know, but ittle be fun, and it'll be something zany to do with time.
Get a Western. Oh man, could you imagine if American Frontier brings back the $300 million Western that your wife will leave you because of how committed you are to this Western? Also, sorry, I can't leave this room. I don't know who this man is and why he's on so many TV.
He seems very angry as well. He seems very animated.
He's the true villain of these movies.
Yeah, but it's Frontier, an American story, isn't it?
Frontier, an American,
which I love it.
Yeah,
but it's like it's two coming out. What? Oh,
fucking didn't you didn't remind me to photograph the satellite, Darren?
I do love that you're like, my goal here is just to run until the game tells me I can no longer run.
That's why I usually stream games that have no fail state and that I've played a million times, because I'm like, I'll just zone out and then I don't have to think about it. Okay, we're gonna.
That's fair. I mean, you are hosting a podcast while playing these games, which is quite impressive.
Exactly.
Giving it back. This is what it should have been, though. This just sprinting and sprinting. That's the one thing I never bought in James Bond films. It's like, you're not doing that in those shoes. Like all this nonsense that you got going on here, you've probably not even broken those in yet.
Yeah.
Whereas I could buy that more with the new Bonds, because I think they actually they have their New Balances on with the extra
their New Balance dress shoes.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I could be going to a 5-star gala affair, or I could just host a barbecue right now. I'm ready for anything.
Yeah.
Dress shoes, they don't seem like they're ready for anything.
No.
What you're saying is you want the 5-minute scene of Daniel Craig on the end of his bed with a bloody sock just going, fuck.
Yeah. I should have wore these in beforehand.
Ooh, yeah, the next day a Band-Aid back of his heels, just like, Ooh.
Just limping to the table, and like Mads Mikkelsen is like, I knew I poisoned you and gave you a heart attack. It's like, no, I sprinted in the shoes that really weren't ready for them yet.
Honestly, that would be one of those visceral, like, everyone in the audience would be like, yep, I feel that. I get it. Like, everyone's had those shoes where they'd be like, I shouldn't have wandered around Disney World in these new shoes. That was foolish.
Not when he was tied up and getting, like, a ball bag to his ball bag. It's those shoes. Like, I can't do it. Every time, Interesting, though, 100 biddies from George Lucas. What says you about the Bourne movies? Do you think that impacted Bond in any way?
Yeah, I would say the Bourne
movies. There's a pre-Bourne and a post-Bourne cinema world.
Yeah,
you say Bond was reborn afterwards?
Oh no.
I knew you weren't saying anything, and I knew there was a reason, and it was because you had that.
It's cooking.
You were cooking. I would say the Craig movies were probably somewhat inspired or informed in the way that a lot of action movies were following Bourne.
Particularly like Quantum of Solace, which is the one where the editing gets frantic. That's the one where you get a lot of run. That has a big parkour scene in it where he runs and jumps through the hotel, if I remember correctly. Like that's the one where Bond goes through the window and like gets the guy on the motorbike. That's which is very much a Bourne shot.
But even
I do think that
even Casino Royale doesn't it start off with doesn't it have the parkour scene in like the construction site
on the crane on the crane
and all
that. Yeah. But I think with Skyfall, you start seeing them leaning back into the idea of classic Bond, which is, to Marty's point, why Skyfall is such a great movie, because it is very uncut, unembarrassed Bond.
Yeah,
like you could argue the thing with Casino Royale and the thing with Quantum of Solace is they're a bit embarrassed to be Bond movies. And I say that thinking like Casino Royale is maybe my favorite Bond movie.
Yeah.
But they're like, this stuff is dated and old and we need to modernize it. Whereas I think with Skyfall, and then obviously with Spectre... Like, Spectre has a scene where he does the walking on a roof, but he walks, he doesn't run, and he's wearing a suit. It feels very much like we're no longer that heavily influenced by the Bourne movies. It probably helps that by this stage the Bourne franchise is over and done with, and the two attempts to revive it with, what was the one with, it was the Bourne Legacy. That's the one with Jeremy Renner.
Yeah. Poor Renner.
That's the one with Renner.
Poor Renner. Every time they're like, don't worry, you're going to take over this franchise. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Like, it's the Mission Impossible one as well, where, like, Tom Cruise just refuses to, like, break his leg on camera. Like, that's one of my favorite stories about Ghost Protocol, is the bit where Renner arrives, and he's like, you're going to take over this franchise. And apparently, like, Cruise is initially just defeated, because this is post-couch, this is post-divorce. There's a sense early on, like... Yeah, well,
I know what you mean by that, but it's just very funny to refer to the moments in your life as pre and post couch. Because I'm going to be honest, like once 7 p.m. rolls around, my entire life is post couch.
But so there's a sense that he is kind of done. But midway through production, he seems to like get new life in. He brings Macquarie in to rewrite it, and Macquarie's his guy. Mm-hmm. And like almost in real time, if you read the accounts of production of Ghost Protocol, you can feel like Renner being kind of subdued in his own movie.
Yeah.
Where initially it's meant to be all about like his trauma.
Yeah.
And like the fact that he killed somebody in the field and he felt really bad about it. And Macquarie's like, nah, we don't want the audience to drift too far from Ethan.
Yeah.
So instead you're going to have failed to protect his wife, and you're going to feel really guilty about that. And you're like, well, that just makes my trauma Ethan's trauma. It's like, yeah. But also it'll turn out that Ethan's wife isn't actually dead. You're just an idiot.
Yeah. And your trauma doesn't even need to be trauma. You were just lied to.
Yeah, that's it exactly. And like it really does. You could tell that they whittled stuff down. There's a stunt sequence in Ghost Protocol, I think, that they give to Simon Pegg's character Benji. That was originally meant to be Renner, but apparently Cruise and Macquarie were like, yeah, but people really like Benji,
and we're gonna call him back, and we're not gonna call Renner back. So.
Yeah. Well, you know the thing with Renner and is it Fallout? I think it is, which is the 6th Mission Impossible. Mm-hmm. He isn't in the 6th Mission Impossible because he was supposed to be in Avengers Infinity War, and he's not in Avengers Infinity War because they thought he was going to be in the 6th Mission Impossible.
Listen, he was shooting arrows with his family on the farm, and they disappeared. It was a very emotional time in his life.
Can never recover from that.
You may want to go back to the brief. You may want to note the things you have to do, Marty.
Rescue hostages. Plant a tracking bug. I absolutely would not have done that.
There you go.
I would have rescued hostages because my forward momentum would have been to rescue the hostages, but I would not have planted a tracker bug.
I love it. Apparently, though, some say Christopher Nolan's next film might be a remake of the 1960s TV series The Prisoner.
Ooh.
I mean, didn't they do they recently did a Prisoner remake with was it fucking crazy wacky pants Jim Caviezel?
Jim Caviezel and Ian McKellen. Now, when you say recently, I think you mean like 18 years ago.
That's fuck off. That can't be 18 years ago. I am
Jim
terrified.
Caviezel,
like Jesus himself.
From The Passion.
No, that was like less than 10 years ago.
And also, like, don't forget the QAnon movie, The Sound of Freedom, as well.
Who could ever forget the QAnon movie? We all passed it forward.
The government stopped me from watching it, apparently. So
it was 15 years ago. Apologies, I was wrong. It was not 16 years ago. It was 15 years ago.
That's way closer to 18 than the 4 years I thought. I love the original Prisoner. I really adore it.
It starred Ruth Wilson and Haley Atwell.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like pre-stardom, obviously for that.
I don't know if I can watch Jim Caviezel anymore. I'm going to be honest. As much as I love, he's in one of my favorite movies of all time.
I mean, I knew you were a Sound of Freedom booster.
No, a Thin Red Line. Thin Red Line. But probably my favorite war movie of all time.
And he's the lead, isn't he? He's functionally the lead in that.
Yeah, he's just kind of sitting there while Malik shoots like plants and wind, though, and then cuts famous actors out of the movie.
He's also very good in Deja Vu as well, which is one of Tony Scott's later roles as well.
Right, yeah.
Classic.
Which has the kind of Tenet-esque car chase involved as well. Yeah.
That movie, I think that movie made me a little nauseous in theaters in a good way. I like going hostage executed. Wait, was that not a...
You failed your training.
I don't know if that man's a hostage released. Is he a hostage or not? He looked
not anymore, Marty.
Well, he looked like he was wearing military. Everything's exploding. What's going on?
Maybe you should check your watch and see if you failed your mission. Oh no, if you read your failed condition, it'll end your mission for you. Okay.
Well, let's find this.
Although I do love the idea of it letting you get to the end and then being like, by the way, you failed in the first 30 seconds.
BT dubs, yeah. Okay, we'll plant a track. Do we think this tracker is something I could throw, or is it something I gotta
something
I think you can throw.
Throw it this time? Oh.
So you can aim and then
the rotor.
Beautiful.
No way.
Objective B completed.
What about Objective A? How do we think we're doing on Objective A? How's Objective A doing over here? Incomplete, not failed.
Okay,
not failed. That's fine.
You're hovering around 40%. It's good.
Everything's fine. Maybe the ship will go away. Why is the thing just called Pirate? The Pirate Euro Chopper.
Oh, yeah. Which was leaked on the War Thunder forums.
That was
what a time. Let me get some of these biddies out of here. Lampy with a 200. Oh, this is on Xbox, so Darren won't get to experience Suika. I'm sure
that's true.
Darren's
We won't get
to.
What's Suika?
It is
like Tetris, but with fruit.
It is like Tetris, but with fruit. It is a game that took over in Japan, and I've been kind of obsessed with it. It's delightful. One of the most delightful puzzle games. It is currently only on Switch. If they released it on phones, I think it would cripple economies because people would just stop working.
That's how I feel about Balatro.
Yeah, exactly.
I knew somebody who lived above a Pokemon Go gym.
Oh, during that during that year when it was huge.
Yeah, I think she described it as one of the worst 6 months of her life. Just opening her window every morning and seeing strangers standing ominously outside on their phones.
Just spinning Pokeballs.
Is it a gamer? Is it a gamer or a math head? Like, I'm in here for Mew. She's here for me. No, the Mew.
Wait, hold on. Did you just restart the level?
No, I left the level thinking I was done because I thought I'd saved enough hostages. And it turns out I didn't. Okay, so green Green's a hostage. Oh, you
Green's
shot
good.
the hostage, you motherfucker. I'm restarting. I'm restarting.
And what we got here? Here's my hot take. Anatomy of a Fall was the most overrated film of 2023. Cheers 100 from Jombly. Different strokes, different folks. And,
my least favorite of the Best Picture nominees, controversially. Although I like Marty, I think all the Best Picture nominees were good.
What was your...
What is a picture? What is the Best Picture?
Nominee for the Oscars. So the 10 movies that were nominated.
What are the categories, though?
Best Picture. Best Picture is like the
just
best movie.
This was the bestest. Okay.
I mean, that's just the main.
It didn't get
the main
nominated
award.
for international, which
It's like
which
Game
is
of the
remarkable.
Year. Yeah. Well, that's because
okay.
France put something else forward, right?
Yeah. France put a cooking movie forward.
Why
in
do
the
we
most
have?
French movie match.
Why do we?
What was this?
Oh, the cooking
Cooking
movie's
movie?
good though. Was it Taste of
Yeah,
Things?
yeah.
What
It's
was
quite good.
The Taste of
I think
Things.
it's the Taste of Things.
Yeah, it has one of the best. Visually, one of my favorite scenes of the year. A cooking scene. You would love that cooking scene. Get that cooking scene up in your face.
What is this?
I'm trying to.
Okay.
I'm thinking my ranking. 10-1
Yeah.
of the Best Picture nominees. I think. would
Okay,
be
here, hit us.
Maestro at 10.
Okay.
Barbie at 9. Holdovers at 8. Anatomy of a Fall at 7. Poor Things at 6. American Fiction at 5. Zone of Interest at 4. Killers of the Flower Moon at 3. Oppenheimer at 2. And Past Lives at 1. I really loved Past Lives.
Nice.
Especially, even on a
Past
second
Lives is
viewing,
amazing.
I think I liked it even more. But
Yeah.
I was bummed that got shut out. But like I said, every award, like even I would have loved to see Lily Gladstone win. But like, holy shit, Emma Stone is so good in Poor
Yeah.
Things. Like, it's just.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the pool of nominees this year was pretty good. Where I think the 10 films were generally quite good. So mine going backwards from 10.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love the idea of people keeping track of this in real time. Anatomy of a Fall at 10. Nearly ran into a rotor there.
No, I also overthrew it. I threw my one. I threw my one tracker too high.
One tracker.
I had one tracker. Okay, Anatomy of a Fall at 10.
Okay. And Poor Things at 9, which
Okay.
is a movie that I didn't go on with. I think is very, very pretty. Maestro, I guess, at 8.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're into what? So hold on. I'm gonna forget one. I'm gonna feel really bad. So
American
Holdovers.
Fiction, Holdovers, Barbie, Zone of Interest.
So Holdovers is at 7.
Okay.
So I guess Zone of Interest at 6. Barbie at 5. Then hold on. What's a 4 logically? Past Lives at 4. Killers of the Flower Moon at 3. American Fiction at 3. Killers of the Flower Moon at 2, and Oppenheimer at 1.
American Fiction was great too. I'm glad that
Loved
that
American
Cord,
Fiction.
I loved Cord's speech about instead of making a $200 million movie, make $25 million movies.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
I said. Like,
Oh yeah. Then you're like,
$200 million $1 movies with AI churning away. Like, yes,
But that's
my
what
CPU's
the
a little hot,
executives
but
heard.
still.
yeah.
That's what the executives heard, Ross. Like the executives were like, that's a great idea. Fire up the Ideatron 5000.
You go just spewing them all out. Yeah, no, you gotta
But
be careful with that.
But like the thing about the Oscars was, you're right that like 3 of those Best Pictures didn't get any awards. So Maestro didn't get any, Killers of the Flower Moon didn't get any, and Past Lives didn't get any. But generally speaking, I was quite happy that there was a lot of love shown. Like Zone of Interest won 2 awards, which is incredible.
Also, one sound design, which I agree with, because like the soundscape of that movie is like fucking terrifying.
Well, it's 90% of the movie.
Yeah.
Like it's a large part of the movie's appeal, and like if we want to talk about the Oscars and we want to be like Oscar nerds, somebody who likes the Oscars being corny and who thinks like one of the big problems with the modern Oscars is that they try to be hip and cool and with it. I like thinks the Soderbergh Oscars, as much as I love Soderbergh, were a disaster.
Oh, the train station one.
The train station one. The 10 minutes where you go from Mulaney basically auditioning for host, where he's handing out the best sound design award and just monologues the plot of Field of Dreams.
That was really good.
The Zone of Interest winning over Oppenheimer, and I say that as somebody who loves Oppenheimer and would have loved an Oppenheimer sweep, and then straight into like Ryan Gosling performing "I'm Just Ken" live in the theater,
so
like
good.
a Bugsy. Yeah, those are like maybe the best 10 minutes of an Oscar ceremony in 20 years, maybe 25 years. Like
This
it's
is
incredible.
Cinema.
Yeah, that's it exactly.
Cinema is when big woman.
When
I can't believe you gave me all that, Darren, to read, and then I go and see the bigger article, and he's just like, "Yeah, cinema is when woman is big." Yeah, it's like I've made one film that I would consider cinema because it had a big woman in it. Sure, it's like Barbie. That is cinema. That is a film. I just want this. I want to see different auteurs' takes on like what is cinema, and then I'm just gonna mash it all together.
I've created movie.
I've created the most film.
It has a big woman and a big sandworm in it.
Oh my god, yeah, that.
Darren, how good is Dune?
Dune rocks.
Dune's really good.
It's phenomenal.
Dune rocks.
Yeah, it is just.
That's called spice.
What if Anakin Skywalker really likes sand?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's great. Like it's a phenomenal. It's horse and it's gritty and it gets everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's just a phenomenal piece of filmmaking. Its scale, its spectacle, its majesty. It's all. Every time I go see it, I see something new in it. You mentioned the sound design of Zone of Interest. The sound design of Dune Part 2, where the movie has a literal heartbeat, which you hear in like the thumpers, but you hear there are lots of scenes of like silence with characters breathing. You have like the Baron's like pulsing life support system as well. Like it is a movie that has a rhythm to it and a heartbeat to it that kind of carries it through. That like the original uses its visuals for storytelling, it uses sound. I think it's just amazing. It is one of the.
That's what you're telling me. Not again.
I mean, not another stealth musical.
Yeah. We've been tricked.
Yeah, we discovered Timothée Chalamet could sing. Most of them are just songs appropriated from Wonka, really.
Sure. Wonka appropriation.
I was in the wrong seat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right seat, wrong theater.
Oh, it says complete.
Well done. You can now leave.
I gotta find I don't know where my boat is. I lost my boat.
Done well, Mr.
I'm gonna get hit by one of these fucking propellers, and I'm gonna have to do this again. But yeah, Dune is remarkable. Highly recommend folks watch it in theaters. Because I enjoyed Dune Part 1, but because of when it released during COVID, I was never able to see it in theaters, much like Tenet. And so seeing Dune Part 2 in theaters was remarkable. Are they going to re-release? Did they re-release Tenet in theaters? Are they going to?
Tenet in theaters?
Wow. They did. They put Tenet in theaters to warm up the crowd for Dune 2, which I kind of love.
Yeah.
Like, I love the idea of Nolan and Villeneuve as kind of cinema bros.
Yeah.
Where they're just hyping each other's movies.
Yeah, right.
But Warners are like, we got this big IMAX movie coming out next week. How do we hype? It's like, do we re-release Dune? And it's like, Tenet. Which does also transparently feel like we really want him back. We need to
win this guy back, yeah.
Yeah, we really want the ex-girlfriend back.
I want the cinema managers to fear for their speakers. Absolutely. Like, not another Christopher Nolan movie, dear God.
Well, that was the thing with
every time.
Didn't Interstellar blow out several speaker systems in cinemas?
You know what? It was just time for them to upgrade. So I think it's fine.
Yeah. Like what was it?
Nolan's self-service for the.
Didn't he like have people go out and actually like go to some of these cinemas people were complaining about, and he says they're not calibrated correctly. That sort of be a thing there of like, yeah, I never thought about that. Or maybe it's hardware failure and not so much your vision. Although he does like his loud.
But I mean, it's understandable. At least going back to like when I was in high school and college, I had friends who like worked at and were like assistant managers at the movie theaters, and they were dipshits. And so I'm like, I would not trust that person. And they were friends of mine,
like a little kid.
But I would not trust that person to be like, I am the harbinger of audio-visual quality at this theater. Like
what? Without wanting to cast any aspersions on your friends, Marty, it's also like the fact that cinemas are losing money. It's very hard to make profit in that, and they're not employing as many people. So even if you go to the cinema, even ushers are harder to come by now, which is why one of the reasons I think people talk about people being on their phones and bad behavior in cinemas. It's because cinemas can't afford to employ ushers who actually check cinemas and police screens. If you have to go and find an usher, it takes you time now, and a projectionist is part of that, where in an ideal world, every screen would have a projectionist working in it. These days, it's one projectionist manning the entire cinema because it is still a job you need to be qualified to do. But you flick a switch and then you leg it down to screen 12 because that's due to start at exactly the same time, And
everyone's not fortunate enough to like live in a place. Like when I was in San Francisco, I could go to the like Alamo Draft House, which like takes that kind of stuff a lot more seriously, and especially like the kind of zero tolerance rule when it comes to phones or talking during the movie and everything. But if you don't live in one of the handful of a major city in a country, then you might not be able to have the opportunity to go to a theater like that.
Yeah, no, that's it exactly. Like, I mean, I'm very lucky that we have, a couple of cinemas here that are run by people I know, and I'm like, they take that seriously. Yeah, there are cinemas that are run by large corporations that hire, teenagers to do this stuff.
Yeah,
and it's like, no disrespect to teenagers who I'm sure are doing the best job they can, but there's only so much attention they have and only so much skill they have.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can see that in the consequence, you know.
Yeah, so I mean that's why they need to be stealthier. I think keep the ushers employed because it's like it gets all rowdy, and then here comes this one guy with that. I don't know if you guys have it, but they have like a traffic cone that they put on a flashlight, and they're just walking around and like everybody good in here, and then they walk out. It's like all right, time to wrap. Do you guys not get
appreciate
those?
the Lord of. No, I don't know who this traffic cone man is, but I like him.
Yeah, no, he comes in with a high-vis vest. Usually, it's the uniform for the theater that they're employed at, and they just come through with this like orange traffic cone flashlight, and then they leave. Up here once or twice.
I want my ushers to have night vision goggles like Sam Fisher, and I want to hear the like as they turn on and see the green lights in their eyes. That's the only usher I respect.
I want the usher to be an urban camo. He's actually the chair next to me. So
you don't even know
I'm
it.
chewing my malt balls too hard, he just silences me.
Nudges you.
Yeah.
Who's there?
They should be like the those Harkonnen computer guys in Dune Part 2.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
They just stand silently and just chant ominously in what sounds like Latin, but probably isn't.
This is like a weird tangent. Have you seen the trailer for the horror movie that I believe it's starring? I don't know if he wrote or produced it, but that Dustin Dashamilian. Do you know who that guy is?
Oh, late night with the devil.
Yeah,
seeing that on Thursday.
Oh hell yeah, that movie looks incredible, and I know some folks who got to see it and said it was great. So I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, no, I know some people who saw it at the London Film Festival last year who are like, "Yep, that'll be a highlight of your day."
That'll be like that.
I'm also seeing the new Sydney Sweeney movie that day as well. And I told them that, and they're like, "They'll still be the highlight of your day." Probably.
I like that's the one that she like went back to like kind of like fund helped get into. Is that the story where like she originally auditioned for the movie like years ago before she was like a big deal? And then went back to it, like, and after she became Sydney Sweeney, was like able to sort of get the movie off the ground again.
Well, it's the same director who made The Voyeurs, which is the film she made on Amazon. Yeah. So it's possible.
Yeah.
Imagine
I mean, like,
stock went up.
I do feel I do feel really bad for Sweeney, just because like. She should be a star. You look at something like Anyone But You, and you look at the amount of money that made, and this should be a bankable young star who is now going to headline whatever she wants to do. And you're like, yeah, but instead you're going to be in Sony's crappy Spider-Man movie, where we put you in latex for 30 seconds, and you have to play a woman who wears glasses and therefore discovers she is hot halfway through the movie. Yeah. Her arc is discovering that she can take off glasses and bare her midriff, and suddenly she is attractive. And you're
she's
like,
all that like.
Is this Catwoman again?
Like Michelle Pfeiffer? I'm like, no, crazy cat lady Michelle Pfeiffer is still very hot.
Oh, it's talking Halle Berry.
Halle Berry. It is a very 2000s superhero movie, to be fair.
It is.
All it's missing is an extreme basketball scene.
It genuinely feels like it was like unearthed.
I'll see you show off your powers.
Like they blew the dust off a movie and we're like, holy shit, we made this movie like 15 years ago. We never released it.
We never should have. On to Super Chats real quick. Let me string a few of these together.
Go for it.
Fella guy, $5. I know some people didn't like No Time to Die, but I really did. I didn't get that. They made Bond a wimp argument. It's not a wimp. They made him blonde. It's different.
Well, they made him like a family man.
Like they made him a daddy.
Daddy,
he went from zaddy to daddy.
It's the other way, Marty.
Oh, sorry.
Gen Z calls daddy zaddy.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know what the Z stands for.
My mistake.
Smidge with the $2. Fun fact, baby axolotls are called axolotls. I don't know if that's true, but they paid for it, so it's got to be.
Fuck is an axolotl?
With the $10. This stream's already great. We are so back. Snake in the Garden, €5. I see Darren, I donate. Darren, can you talk about how big a deal Poor Things plus Killian's wins at Oscars are for Ireland? Backdrop on Ireland film production. Are you guys celebrating now? Do you do that? Like,
riots
national
in the
pride?
streets?
Well, we do have that trademark Irish stoicism, so it's like a don't get too big for your boots kind of thing. Where it's like, you won an Oscar, that's grand, that's enough for you. There's a lot of Cork pride, which is interesting, where Ireland has, obviously, like every other country, has its own particular regions with its own particular culture. Cillian Murphy is from Cork, which is known as the Munster Republic, which always has a very strong independent streak to it. So there's a sense in which Cillian Murphy's win is not just a win for Ireland in general, but specifically for Cork. It's also the nation that part of the nation that gave us Brendan Gleeson as well. He would be a Cork man. So it's a very like stereotypically Irish. Sometimes when you think of Ireland, you think of rural Ireland. Cork is kind of a large part of that. But yeah, generally speaking, we're very impressed. I mean, we were very happy with the Poor Things awards. I think Ed Guiney, the producer, didn't expect it to do half as well as it did. He was expecting those production awards to go to Barbie rather than the Poor Things. But yeah, no, we are delighted. And I do love that it's like their relationship to Yorgos Lanthimos is just we just make it easy for him. We want him to basically come to us first, so we will basically greenlight whatever it is he wants to do.
I didn't realize those were like Irish productions, or Irish funded. The Yorgos Lanthimos. Ones? Oh.
Yeah. Since The Lobster, I think, going back to The Lobster. So it's like Lobster, Killing of a Sacred Deer, The Favorite. This is one of those stealth things where Ireland is a secret power player at the Oscars. Like Room is, I believe, an IFI co-production as well. That's the Lenny Abrahamson one where Brie Larson won the Oscar for. But yeah, things like The Favorite is technically an Irish film as well, which we're very proud of.
That's great.
And allows us to kind of punch above our weight. What we generally do is we provide funding, and we do provide behind-the-scenes talent, stuff like that. Irish writers, Irish actors. Obviously, Colin Farrell was in like The Lobster and was in The Killing of a Sacred Deer as well. So I mean, we are part of this. It's not like we're just stealing credit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're very, very proud of it. This is the increasingly globalized film industry in which we're working, where Europe, obviously doesn't have. It has big individual film industries, but they're not as big as the American film industry because nothing is as big as the American film industry. Yeah. So we tend to band together and partner up. The famous story I like, and I'm going to get the details wrong, and I apologize for this. Google it afterwards. But the the Three Colors trilogy, Kowalski's Three Colors trilogy, which is the Red, White, and Blue, which is he's Polish and they're French films. But I love that for the first one, which was Blue, he released in I think '93. He submitted that to the Oscars as a French film, and they're like, actually, I know you filmed it on location in France, but the money that produced it was actually Polish. So France. Sorry you submitted that. It's not eligible. Tough luck. Goodbye. So next time round, he does Three Colors Red, which I believe is filmed in Switzerland, but is funded by French money. Yeah. So they go, okay, this is definitely a French movie by the rules the Academy's laid out. Yeah. France submits it again for Best Foreign Film, and they're like, sorry, that's a Swiss movie.
Yeah.
You're ineligible.
Yeah, third time's a charm, though. Right, he's got one more.
The third time, it sounds like a weird Boris joke setup.
No, the thing about those three movies, which I love, is that they're kind of like a drunken bet situation, where Kowalski was like, what he wanted to do was he wanted to win all of the three major European film festivals. It's first of all, it's Berlin, it's Venice, and it's Cannes, right?
Yeah.
So he released those three movies over a year in the hope that like Blue would win Berlin, White would win Venice, and Red would win Cannes.
Yeah.
And I believe that White won Venice. I think Cannes went to Pulp Fiction instead. But like
gotcha.
I do love the arrogance of like, I will make 3 films in a year and they will win the 3 biggest awards in Europe.
Yeah.
I got one though. I'd still be pretty. Like,
1 out of 3. That's a good batting average.
And made like 3 of the best films ever made in the process as well. Like I think Blue and Red are masterpieces. White doesn't work for me. I guess it's a humor thing. I don't necessarily glom with French humor. But
now who's anti-European?
I know, right?
Did you ever see that OSS 117? Did you ever see that movie?
Yes, the horny Bond movie.
That was great. That was great. Austin Powers with a little edge.
Yeah, with a little edge. That's it. Like the thing with French comedies is most of the time the humor is it sexual harassment.
Oh, it's like that's absolutely sexual. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the thing I remember is during the 90s watching a whole bunch like Le Picard, which is the kind of thing that like Peter Farrelly is watching and is like, could I get an Oscar for remaking this today? Where Le Picard is about a guy in the 90s France who discovers he's about to be fired, so decides to pretend to be gay so that he cannot be fired from his job. And as you might imagine, the French have quite a good deal of fun with that concept.
Sure, yeah. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
Johnny Knoxville is.
But he learns important life lessons along the way, crucially.
Yeah,
he grows and changes.
Yeah.
There you go. That's my Oscar bait. I'm going to start off with a completely depraved guy, and by the end he goes, "I've learned racism is bad.
It's Green Book.
I've learned not being a bigot is good for you."
I mean, that's how you get your Oscar.
Green Book. That's
Driving Miss Daisy. That's Green Book. That's
Gran Torino.
That's Gran Torino.
It's Crash. Yeah.
It's Crash. It's Gran Turismo. Probably. I still haven't seen Gran Turismo, but that's probably part of it.
That's how you get your Oscar there. And then we got Lampy 2 Pound. How far are you in Gurren Lagann now, Marty?
I'm gonna blow your mind in saying that I got one episode in and then I had to pause because Gurren Lagann is an anime I started watching because I got tickets this Sunday for the theatrical re-release. It's like a 2 showing only of End of Evangelion. The original Evangelion movie is being re-released in theaters, which I've obviously never got to see in theaters. And so, because I have a head injury, I was like, I need to rewatch all of Evangelion before that. And so I started that this weekend. So I'm 8 episodes into my Evangelion rewatch, and I need to finish that.
The thing about Evangelion is it's only like 20 episodes, though, right?
It's pretty short. Yeah, it's pretty short. That'll be relatively easy. And I don't have to watch like.
I've done Evangelion, and I know nothing.
And you know nothing. Yeah, if we've proven one thing on this stream, it's that you know nothing. Also, tell me how I fuck up the satellite.
Do you have mines?
I have mine. I have one mine, and I threw it at it earlier, and it was like, no, that's not where you put it. I'm like, well, where do I put it? I'm honestly just gonna Google it while you guys talk.
Oh, so you break communications link to the bunker, so that's the console inside. You don't blow up the fucking satellite, dude.
Would that not break the communications link?
Yeah.
I feel like there's no kill like overkill.
Yeah, if there's a machine and the power source and there's wires, I go for the machine.
There's this thing. Like, that's not a computer.
But is there not a room with a console in it somewhere?
This is like a very small room. No, I'm just gonna Google.
No, but when you go, okay, all right,
you guys
all right.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Keep in mind they're going to keep spawning enemies.
I'm just going to pause. That seems safe.
This is really compelling streaming for everybody.
People who've seen me stream know that I will just occasionally stop and, well, first off, I'll just go to the bathroom during streams and I'll just leave. And that's fair. I think one time I forgot I was streaming.
That's a different kind of stream.
Yeah.
He's Snoop Dogg. Did you see that? Like, he left the stream running overnight, comes back the next day, he's like, oh, damn.
I'm still doing this. Thank you, Polygon. Teach me how to do this.
Dog way. We got a Snake in the Garden €2 backdrop on the James Bond series next, please. There's quite a few of James Bond films. Have to work on catching up there. Beast March, $2. Bond is to Bourne what 5th edition D&D is to Pathfinder. So wait a minute. I feel like it's the other way.
Bond is to Bourne. As what? I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Bond is.
Yeah, so you need to find the key to that door. Basically, is what you need to do.
There you go.
Well, Darren, where's the key?
I'm guessing it's in one of the bunkers. Like,
oh no!
If I were designing a level, that would be where I would put the key. So presumably, you cleared a whole bunch of bunkers. Oh, okay.
And one of them had a key in it. Okay, so go back.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
SBS.
I mean, it would just be reckless to leave the key next to the locked door, to be fair.
Yeah.
I think he should. He should have it around his neck.
Okay, I found a walkthrough. I'm just going to restart the level and then follow the walkthrough.
That works. All right, finishing these up. SBS, €5. Last time you were playing that Star Trek mobile game, was there any negative response from the sponsor for mostly not talking about the game itself? I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of sponsors don't make it so that it's like, hey, chill the whole way through. It's more so like, hey, have the ad flashing through and just be you. A lot of people just are like, I like what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing, but just mention me.
Yeah, we tend to gravitate towards sponsors. Like, we tell them very, very clearly up front that, like, hey, the way that we enjoy doing these sponsorships and our audience enjoys them is when it feels like a thing that we would do normally. And so that stream, like where you and Jack, Darren, were gabbing about Star Trek and Nick was playing the game, that was a stream that feels like a stream we would have done without getting paid for it. So, whereas like an audience can kind of tell when it's like, oh, you guys are reading from the script here. Like,
now we got your coffee, yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to do that. You have to, you gotta put bread on the table. But no, I think most of the sponsors know and trust our judgment when it comes to sponsored content. So there you go.
I mean, so you're telling me it wasn't the sponsor who sent me the note copy saying sex candle episode?
Exactly.
That was just Jack.
That was just Jack. Yeah.
For our notes right there. Yeah. And, with the $5, last 10 to 15 minutes, can you play Framed.wtf? Guess the game for movies with Darren. I didn't know they did that.
It's a great game. I actually used to play that daily on my phone, and then I lost my records.
I played every morning.
It's really fun.
You are assuming I'm able to do that on my OBS, which I'm going to tell you I'm probably not able to do that.
There you go.
This
is too easy. This is Henry Poole was here.
Who's Henry Poole? Is that a movie?
It's with the old Wilson brother.
Owen?
Luke Wilson.
Luke? Andrew, the third Wilson?
Yeah, no. Is there a third Wilson?
Yeah, I think he was in Bottle Rocket.
I
think he was one of the. Well, he was one of the guys who weren't the other two.
By the way, Wes Anderson now has an Oscar and didn't even bother showing up. Which
apparently, he was filming the next day. He was filming his next movie in Germany. That's why I read it. Whereas Miyazaki,
he also lives in Paris. Yeah.
Whereas Miyazaki just did not give a fuck, and is also very old.
Yeah.
He should not. He doesn't have to fly.
Yeah, that's what to say. Can you imagine? Yeah, flying Miyazaki, the man who considers lying in until 8 a.m. in the morning to be a lion.
He also didn't go to the Oscars 1 year out of protest.
When Spirited Away.
Yeah, out of protest for the Iraq War, I believe.
Yeah.
You have to show up to win.
No.
Oh, I guess not.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
In fact, you can do all sorts of crazy stuff, and if they like you enough, they will forgive you. There's the Marlon Brando year where he just, like, for The Godfather, sent an actor playing a Native American. Yeah. I don't know if she was actually Native American, but she was an actor that he hired rather than an activist.
Or him doing it himself.
It's probably good that he did.
He was the greatest actor of his generation, to be fair. I love this is taking on a kind of a vaguely, Lynchian kind of.
Because I keep going in circles and going into the same buildings.
We're just wandering into these empty rooms, looking around.
This is slowly going to turn into a liminal space.
Liminal spaces. I've been here too many times.
A super eye patch wolf essay. Do you know Super Eye Patch Wolf? He's Irish. It's probably racist of me to say do all Irish people know each other, but he's one of my favorite YouTubers. He does amazing video essays.
There's the key. Oh no,
it's just body armor. Someday.
Useless body armor. No, I do not know him personally.
Okay.
I've seen him online a couple of times, so I don't know him personally.
He's great. Big fan.
Doing all that stuff. And then Lauren with the $5. The Boy and the Heron was my favorite unhinged film from the last year. Maybe not Miyazaki's best, but was still a wild ride, and I really enjoyed it.
I thought it was great.
It was fun times.
I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was the perfect final film, and I am so happy it's not the final film. Just keep going.
It's gonna,
just absolutely keep going. Also, Pundabai, a great comment saying, "Marty, do you know Brett Favre, the former Packer quarterback?"
To his credit, like, America's very spread out. Europe, you guys
but Brett Favre was like in Wisconsin.
We're on an island,
but like, point taken.
I mean, I have played pool with Cillian Murphy to the point of how small Ireland is.
And also, like, ostensibly, you guys are both Irish critics in media who've made incredible. I feel like your Venn diagram circles overlap more than me and Brett Favre, who's outside of football best known for sending unsolicited dick pics to an ESPN correspondent and then fleecing the state of Alabama from a bunch of, I believe, COVID relief money. So, he's not great. Not great.
Who is this?
Not a good
Brett
guy.
Favre, former quarterback, former quarterback of the. So the big two Packer quarterbacks are him and Aaron Rodgers. The verdict's still out on science.
They're both wackos.
Yeah.
Just in general.
I'm back at these same two fucking cabins.
Yes, you are.
I wandered around this entire level. I ended back at the fucking Black Lodge.
Have you tried going past? Maybe if you go past the satellite dish.
I'm in a loop. I don't know where I am. This is awful.
What year is it?
Oh my god.
1997.
That gum we like is coming back in style. Okay, we're gonna find it. This one. Look at this. Oh no, I already shot this. It says bullet holes in it. That means I was here. Yeah. That's what I need to do.
Mark them. Yes.
I need to shoot every place I go. I need to turn on paintball mode so I can easily see where I've been.
I love that you're now just following the outline of the level.
I mean, eventually, like I'll come across a bunker I haven't seen.
Is it in the center? Oh, it's
Quintuple,
funhouse.
absolutely. This is this is the end of the level because this is where the bunker is. This is where I need to go.
There you go.
But this I haven't turned off the fucking thing yet. And yes, we do need yellow paint. Could you imagine if this game had yellow paint? Everything would be better. Oh, this could be it. This could be no. This is just like a.
Do we make it?
This is just like a hole in the ground.
Have you been here before?
I don't know. It's a hole. It's a hole in the ground.
What-
Like the hit film, hole in the ground.
Holes.
Like the hit film.
There are several films called
no.
Holes. Oh, okay.
Okay, this.
Oh, there's no way into that one.
Well,
okay.
because this is so this is a repeat level. This was already a
Yeah.
level we played during the day, and we had to get into the bunker there. And now we're just coming back, which seems weird. We should just blew that.
Well, I mean, you gotta save dev resources somehow, right?
That's. Listen, I always say, like work smarter, not harder. If you made a cool bush, you don't need to make a second cool bush. Just reuse the bush.
Yeah.
Imagine. We'll work on the next one. Eric, with the 50 R's, talking about end of Evangelion. What do you think about the infamous hospital scene that was made to stop people relating to Shinji? Was it too much? That's all I think about because I watched the end of Evangelion. That's all that happened. And I said, what?
Have you been in there, Marty?
I feel like I was in here the first time, but that was a long time. Oh.
It has a table.
I got excited for the table.
It's different. This is a schoolroom now? Yeah.
What about this one? Yeah, these just look like little, like when your school's like, we need to build. Oh, this feels like this could be. Nope, this is body armor. What about this? One of these fucking tables.
Sorry, Ross, I cut you off on the subject of the touching scene. A very touching scene.
Yeah,
It's a very
great.
moving scene.
Evangelion, we're not gonna spoil
Christmas
it. But
came early.
yeah, God.
Twice a year.
Yeah. I mean, it's not great, but it. Listen, Anno's going through it, and I'm personally, if Anno needs to go through it, just go through it. I don't approve of Shinji's actions, but
I don't endorse him.
I do not endorse his comatose cranking.
I love that the desk explodes, by the way. The desk is made of
I don't know how that happened.
I made it through TNT.
These feel like more important. These feel like important places that should have key cards in them.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Ask around, ask an NPC. Oh, we've been here.
I know, but the key cards are small.
But the thing about Evangelion, and again, I know he's denied this, and I know this isn't necessarily authorial intent or whatever, but it really does feel like End of Evangelion is a gigantic screw you, where it's like, look, we ended the series the way that we ended the series, and I know that the budget was a factor there, but it really does feel like that movie is like, well, here's all the crap you guys wanted, and I hope you feel really
you want some fan service? You want some closure? Here you go.
Yeah. Like, there's the moment in that where they show a cinema in Japan, and it's like, just so you're aware, you're all monsters.
Yeah.
But the audience, are the monster here.
But then I like how the rebuilds come out, and he's like, I have gone to therapy. I feel a little bit better.
I'm happily married.
I'm happily married, and here is the actual ending.
Yeah. I honestly do. I don't mind, whatever about going back and rebooting and reworking stuff. When you're doing it with a purpose and you're showing how you've evolved and how you've changed, I think there's value in that. I would much rather that than just empty fan service, to be honest.
I think I'm back.
I'd much rather see.
I think I'm back at the two cabins.
The same two fucking cabins.
Write your initials on them, Marty, so you can see from afar.
I'm back at the two cabins.
Yeah.
What other movies do you have screenings lined up for, Darren? Or at least what's coming out soon? What are some of the big blockbusters coming out soon? We got to be we're getting close to April, which means we're getting close to the start of blockbuster season, right?
Oh, here comes summer, yeah.
Well, Kung Fu Panda 4 is out in the States. That'll be coming out here at the end of the month. There's Kong vs. Godzilla, which it feels like is going to be a late March, early April release.
Yeah.
Or Kong X Godzilla. Apologies for getting the
Dawn of Justice.
Yeah. Somehow starring, what's his name? Dan Lewis, isn't it? March 29th.
Yeah, that's right.
You've got Furiosa coming in May, right? That's coming off
the Gosling Fall Guy,
Fall Guy. Which I have to admit,
I don't know.
Well, look, it's David H. It's the guy who brought you Bullet Train.
It's exactly what we would think from it. Yeah.
I thought my dad really liked Bullet Train.
There you go.
That's the Darren review. Put that on the poster. My dad really liked Bullet Train. I didn't think Bullet Train was awful.
No,
it
wasn't. It
not
wasn't
particularly
awful.
good, and I've completely forgotten most of it.
Yeah.
I do remember the train explodes for some reason because this is the era of cinema in which we live. Also, Michael Shannon is a Japanese crime lord, which I'm not sure how I feel about.
Yeah, that's a little strange, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we have several questions that we should ask about this situation, but it's not going to come up naturally in conversation.
But you what, Michael Shannon, you're great. You get a pass.
Yeah, you do what you do.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna restart the level again, and I'm gonna follow a very detailed guide. I'm gonna do this. Okay. I'm gonna get it. Follow the center path and defeat any enemies that come your way.
Okay, step 1.
Yeah. As soon as I find this key, we're golden. Because I know everything else to do once we find the key.
I think you say, first you find this key, we're GoldenEye.
Take the third right and continues until a path opens on your left. I'm not going to kill any of these guys. We're too busy to kill the guys. Third right. I don't think I've seen any rights yet. This is the first
No, that's
right.
a left.
This is the first
so
right.
First right. Yep, first right.
Oh, did you get it?
I'm going to kill this guy. We're slowly making our way.
Well, Paul, welcome to Sponsor Free Videos.
Hey, welcome.
Darren, did you watch? This is CSI Freak for £4.99. Darren, did you watch Rustin and Nyad, both nominated for Best Actor awards, but not Best Films? Please, more Darren streams. I'm loving this and his work.
I have not watched Rustin yet for my sins, and it's a shame because I love Coleman Domingo. I did watch Nyad, and Nyad is a perfectly serviceable biopic. I think Foster is actually legitimately good in Nyad, to her credit. And I think I was very happy with her supporting actress nomination there as well. But it's not a great movie. It's not a movie I would rush out and suggest that you need to see. It's very paint by numbers. It's very formulaic, and it hits all of the beats that you would expect it to, which is, unfortunate given... it's Benning and it's Foster. It should be better than it is, but such is life. But again, very delighted to see both nominations, and it does feel like, oh, you got it?
Got it.
You found it.
That man had it. I feel like I killed every man.
Oh, okay.
That dude had it. I might have just abandoned him and walked away.
You just open the door, find a guy standing there, close the door, and walk off.
The problem was I was too sympathetic, and I was like, I will let you live because you have a family, and little did I know he had a key. Now I just have to find all those other things that I don't know where they are. I thought Nyad, I felt the exact same about Nyad. Very paint by numbers, but Jodie, I'm glad that we got multiple Jodie roles in the last few months. Between
back to back overlapping as well.
Yeah, it was weird. Jodie season approaching. What did True Detective? We never had a chance to talk about that. I thought it started off a little bit stronger. Didn't quite land the plane. The outcry against it was incredibly annoying. But I'm glad they're gonna run it back and
the outcry
season.
Yeah, there was it's women now kind of thing. Which is not great.
Went woke, did it? People.
Well, and it was also shitty because Nick Pizzolatto, the creator of the show, who did seasons 1 through 3, was like sort of fanning the flames.
Yes.
Even though he was an EP
like,
on
you can't blame me.
Yeah, and ostensibly making money off it. Like, all you have to do is shut the fuck up. You don't even need to you don't need to promote this. You don't need to say anything positive about it. Just shut the fuck up. Just
don't say something negative about it.
It's just such a bummer because that was originally pitched as just a show called Night Country, right? And then they were like, what if we IP it in True Detective? And they're like, I guess so. Like, if we can get this made, and then that made everyone mad.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, I do take Lopez at her word that she liked True Detective.
Oh,
She was like, hey, I will happily do this. But yeah, the linking elements are the weakest part of it, where it's like, spoiler alert, I guess, for people who have not seen the 4th season of True Detective Night Country, but like, Matthew McConaughey's father is a ghost in it.
Who doesn't really play a big role whatsoever. Just
but
pops
you
up
recognize
in,
the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, like, the Tuttle Industries, who are this, like, Louisiana corrupt reverend family, apparently also own an ice research station in the Arctic Circle.
And apparently the spiral is like a dragon skeleton they found, which I was like, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, it really... Oh.
Got an achievement.
What was that?
We got an achievement.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh.
Okay.
See, movies don't give us achievements, do they, Darren?
They don't.
Video games. No, superior art form.
Don't quiz you on the way out.
You guys just get popcorn buckets so you can fuck in the dark.
not to weigh too much into this conversation, but I look at the Dune popcorn bucket and I'm like, I don't really feel like that would be a pleasant experience for anybody. It looks like those fonts are, like I can see why you would assume that, but it really doesn't feel like
people just need to feel something at this point. Like it's just anything.
I do love the idea of the popcorn bucket being a metaphor for Paul's experience, where like reaching your hand in and trying to get the popcorn out
the paint box
allows you to feel in the paint. It allows you to feel what Paul and Fade feel when they put their hand in the paint box. It's
How come everything else has a cool name in Dune, and that thing's just called the paint? Does it have like a cool name?
It does. It's the Gamjabor.
The Gamjabor. Yeah, man, the Gamjabor.
Yeah, not straying away from
the Reverend Mother.
Charlotte Rampling, Oscar-nominated actress, screen icon, just sits back and exhales.
I did not expect Dune to take off in terms of the goofs as it has, in terms of like the Twitter goofs, which I've been very happy. We have not had like a Twitter
meme
goof.
It's great, it's great timing. Yeah, because right now everyone's talking about glazing. Glazing means like talking someone up a little too much.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. It's like, oh, Marty, you're so good at this video game. You're the best at this video game. No one's been as good at video games like you. So you have the glazer in Dune. That's always for Timothy, as it was written, as it is written.
Yeah. The Sen Al Gaib. I do like the meme format of it's like him doing the magic trick where he's it's like.
What's he got here?
Sorry.
Oh yeah, SBS with a 2-year-old. Darren, have you ever reviewed Don't Look Up? That's the Jordan Peele joint, no?
No, Don't Look Up was
Don't Look Up is the Adam McKay.
You must have wrote about it at The Escapists, right?
No, I think I managed to avoid that one, luckily.
I guess it came out around the holidays, so you were like, Christmas break. Don't have to do it.
Netflix didn't screen that one for us Irish critics, unfortunately, or fortunately. So I believe I watched that on Christmas Eve while my family were going about their business on my iPad, and I was like, that's as much energy as it's gonna get from me. Not a big fan, which is odd because I am generally fonder of McKay than most. Honest to goodness, I quite like Vice for my sins.
Anchorman and Step Brothers, absolute classics.
Did McKay do? He also did Talladega Nights as well.
Talladega Nights, yeah.
think so.
Which is massively underrated. Again, a huge Christopher Nolan film as well, which I just love. I always love when Nolan names a film that he loves, and it's like, yeah, it's MacGruber and Talladega Nights.
Him and Paul Thomas Anderson. I like that's like everyone has shit taste. It's great. Even our favorites.
Was it Terrence Malick programming was it the New York film? You just fucking kill.
First off, you gotta be more mindful of your surroundings, Natalia. That wasn't on me. Also, I didn't fail recovering the CCTV tape. I didn't even have a chance to. That was on Natalia.
I feel like you're prematurely judging me. You should maybe leave her in the cage until you've cleared the level. That might be the solution.
That is actually a great call. That is a great call.
Yeah, you gotta manage everybody.
Yeah.
It's project management. Snake in the Garden, 2-year-old Darren, Madam Web thoughts. Where will Marvel go next? Where can they? Well, back to roots, back to square one.
Well, Madam Web was Sony, to be fair, not Marvel. I believe Sony are going to keep running it into the ground. Like one of my, you shouldn't say great things because it makes it sound like you're rooting against the industry or whatever.
Sure.
But one of the kind of darkly hilarious things about this year is that Disney under Bob Iger have realized that they've stopped, that they've flooded the market. There's too much superhero content, and people need a break that needs to go away in order to come back. So they're like, no Marvel project this year with the exception of Deadpool. That's the one. And I love that Sony are like, we finally got our Spider-Man production up and running. So you're going to have Madam Web, you're going to have Kraven the Hunter, you're going to have like Venom 3 all released in the year, flooding the market, flooding the zone. And those are all going to have Marvel in front of them. So I know, obviously us nerds know that those are Sony productions and not Marvel productions. But to your average cinema goer, it's really not going to feel like they're getting a break from Marvel.
Or to your stars of the movies who think that they're in an MCU movie.
Yeah, that's it exactly. Look, Madam Web, not good. Very, very bad. It's like a weird... I think it only really makes sense as an IP play, where it's like the Nativity starring Spider-Man, but not actually starring Spider-Man.
The Nativity? Jesus?
Yeah, like the Jesus Nativity. Yes.
Have you not seen this, Frost? Obviously you haven't seen this, and you shouldn't see it, and it's bad. The plot of the movie, as far as I can gather, what happened is it was originally pitched as a Terminator movie about Spider-Man. So the idea was that you had this guy who was going to kill Spider-Man's mother while she was pregnant. And our hero, Madam Web, would see the future and would try to stop him.
Oh, is that the poisonous Amazonian thing meme that was going around?
Yeah, the spider. He was in the Amazon with my mother when she was researching spiders before she died. Just rolls off the tongue. Yeah. Also doesn't appear in the movie, which I quite love. Just stitched together from random clips of audio. But the plot of the movie is, yes. So it seems like the original plot of the movie was she was going to have to protect Spider-Man's mom and prevent him from murdering Spider-Man's mom so that Spider-Man could never be born, so Spider-Man could never stop him doing whatever, right? But it also appears that at some point Sony had some sort of panic attack where they're like, which Spider-Man do we put in it? There were rumors that they were like, well, we put Tom Holland in it. It's like, well, if we put Tom Holland in it, we can't set it in the 90s because that doesn't make sense. So what if we put Andrew Garfield in it? It's like, and then we put it's set in the... So I'm getting very distracted by the video game. It's like bright lights in front of me. I get very distracted.
Understandably. Okay, we're just going to leave. Just don't get killed by that machine gun, I tell you.
On your own, he says. Just like James Bond, all you love.
But like it appears that through these various notes, the film becomes this ungodly mess, this really confusing tangle of concepts and ideas that are never really developed. So all of a sudden, instead of it being he's trying to kill Spider-Man, he's trying to kill these 3 women who will be Spider-Woman for some reason. But also, they're not going to be Spider-Woman in this film. You're going to get to see a grand total of 3 seconds of them in Spider-themed costumes. So instead, she's going to protect these 3 girls from being murdered by this guy. But also, we've already cast like Uncle Ben and Spider-Man's mom, so I guess they're still kind of in the movie anyway. And you can tell that a lot of the movie was reconstructed in post-production, where the climax of the movie has Spider-Man's mother about to give birth, and she's been driven to the hospital by Uncle Ben, who is a paramedic. And there's a big action sequence where the villain attacks the car carrying them. But he's not attacking the car to get at her. He's attacking the car to get at Sydney Sweeney and the other 2 Spider-Girls. It just so happens that Spider-Man's mom is in the car with her water breaking about to give birth. And the movie... Not only does the movie not feature an appearance from any Spider-Man in the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters, or the Spamunk, if you will, it also can't say...
I choose not to say Spamunk.
As it is written.
It also chooses not to name him. So you have Ben Parker. You have a line where like the character of Madam Web says, Ben can't wait to be an uncle. You have the line where if you accept the responsibility, great power will come. They cannot say the 2 words Peter Parker. There's a moment at the baby shower where like Emma Roberts about to say, I picked the name and the name is going to be, and then a balloon pops and it's like never mentioned again, never alluded to. It is such a weird exercise in empty corporate synergy that only makes sense as leveraging IP.
It's beautiful.
Well done, Marty.
It's truly beautiful.
Right now.
I was going to say first try, but that wasn't a first try because I killed her on my first try.
No.
Compared to the previous one, it felt like a first try.
Ooh, statue. I like this.
This is good. St. Petersburg. A couple of people ask in chat, not playing on an N64 controller. This is the Xbox port of the game, and I'm absolutely playing on easy mode because it is too hard.
You're conversing. You're hosting a podcast while playing.
There you go. We're talking about webs.
We're
talking about webs.
Her web does tie them all together.
Truly.
Thematically, in a sense.
Have you like you've seen this, Marty?
I've seen what, Madam Web?
You've seen Madam Web.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, have you seen? Okay, the amount of Pepsi product placement in it is brilliant, right?
So she wants a stiff drink at the baby shower, and they're like, "What about this?"
The metaphor here of like, is Pepsi okay? For this whole, that's just the theme for this whole film. Is Pepsi okay? No, it's not okay.
Yeah, no, like it's very much like people were asking about our sponsored content a moment ago. It feels like Pepsi got a similar deal where it's like she's handed a Pepsi and she's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah,
and the villain at the end of the movie is killed at what appears to be a giant Pepsi factory because it has the word Pepsi written on top of it, but it's also full of explosive fireworks for some reason, and he is killed by a falling pea from a Pepsi logo.
The carbonation.
As he foresaw.
Yeah.
No, it's just an Epsi.
It's just an Epsi.
What can you do with
And in
that?
her vision, isn't he killed by the S?
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite small details. She sees him being killed by the S, but instead he is crushed by the P. What a twist.
As it were.
As it were.
Oh my God. Slam these biddies. Several years ago, my wife found out I was cheating on her when she saw me hide all those letters. She got pretty mad. We haven't played Scrabble since. Waka waka.
Oh, that's a waka waka.
That's nice. I like that.
Shakespeare in Love only gets mentioned during Oscar season for winning over Saving Private Ryan. Is that movie any good? Sir George Lucas, just get in there. Just get in. Just watch it. And then if it's bad, you regret it. But you won't regret that you didn't watch it. No. There you go.
Thin Red Line's the best movie.
I think it's... I also think that it's not bad. It's just not the best picture of the year. Like, it would be a perfectly well-remembered film if it had not, like, beaten Saving Private Ryan to the punch.
Which is honestly most Best Picture winners, I feel, are like that. Where it's like, every once in a while you get one where I'm like, ooh, this is, like, legitimately not good. But most of the time it's just, this movie's fine, but it's not the best movie of the year. Whereas Oppenheimer, I'm like, no, this movie's incredible. This was great. Same thing with Parasite.
I guess I feel bougie too. I love Dune 2 so much until the end. Haven't read the books. Oh,
you loved what? Wait, you loved what until the end?
He loved Dune 2 until the end.
Oh, I like the end.
When it ended.
And I've not read. Have you read any of the Dune books?
I have read all of the Frank Herbert books and a disappointingly large amount of the Brian Herbert and Kevin Anderson books.
Oh, that's right.
A prime example of failing to learn the lesson. Yeah.
You were the one who told like a while ago on a podcast told us all about the God Emperor of Dune and how we're getting into big worm territory.
The best book ever written. It is not the best book ever written, but it's the thing about God Emperor, which is fantastic. It is the main character of that is a giant philosophizing sandworm. I'm not going to tell you who he is because that might be considered a spoiler for a future book. Yeah, he's a giant worm, but he has like the face of James McAvoy. Yeah. And he resurrects his dad's best friend, and he's like, we should chill out and we should talk about philosophy a lot, and also Frank Herbert's weird views about sexuality that are rooted in his complicated relationship to his gay son. And a lot of that is not dated well, but when it's coming from a giant worm man, you're like, well, this is at least interesting. And the thing about God Emperor is that like Herbert originally decided he was going to write that in the first person from the perspective of the giant philosophizing sandworm. Gave up halfway through because he realized it didn't work structurally, but he's also like, I've written half a book, so he just shoehorns in all of that first person perspective as narrative and exposition and monologues of this giant worm talking into a tape recorder for posterity.
Zero notes.
It is gonzo and insane, and I kind of love it. I can't say it's good, I can't recommend it, but part of me is like, I know Villeneuve wants to be done after Messiah. Villeneuve has said he wants to make 3 films. He wants to adapt the first book. He wants to adapt Messiah. Makes sense given what he's done. Dune 2 has a lot of Messiah in it, a lot of seeding of Messiah. Children of Dune, which is the 3rd book, is not great. It's mostly a retread of the original Dune. But part of me wants Warner Brothers to, immediately after the success of Messiah, greenlight both sequels. And so we get, I don't know, Jordan Peele directing like God Emperor of Dune, starring, I don't know, Adam Driver as a giant philosophizing sandworm, because he's the only actor who hasn't been in one of these yet.
That sounds excellent. No complaints here.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't done all the objectives, but there's just a gate that says BJ on it, and I gotta go through the BJ gate to see what's up. Nope, failed. Let this be a life lesson.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, don't you all? Yeah, okay, all right.
Marty trapped.
I think this was a learning experience for all of us.
I love that we failed because I forgot to remind Marty to check his watch.
I did check my watch, and I saw that I still had 4 objectives, but I thought I might have to, in my hero's journey, I thought I would have to pass the BJ threshold of my hero's journey.
That'll change this, man.
This is like the weird sexual energy of Dune 2, where you have to become a man, you have to tame a giant penis that rides through the sand.
Exactly, and then drink the blue milk.
So you become a man, truly.
Yeah, and then Javier Bardem is like, that is the biggest penis I've ever seen. I don't know if he can handle it. It's like, yep, turns out he can handle it.
That's because you've never been in a movie with Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Or that moment where like Margot Fredrick's like, don't worry, I'm going to make this bald Austin Butler a man. Come to me, kneel, put your right hand in the box.
Yeah.
That's not, I'm not paraphrasing. No. That is actual dialogue from the movie. right after you watch what fireworks can best be described as sploogey.
They are very
weird.
sploogey.
They are very sploogey.
Very sploogey.
Yeah.
Extremely sploogey.
You need to talk to him, I believe, don't you?
No. We're talking. That was the one objective I did do.
Okay. Yeah.
They were like, you met up with Robbie Coltrane. Well done. I just think I didn't do anything.
Oh, that's him. Yeah. He's not got his limp.
Well done, Marty.
It said I failed. It said I failed. Son of a bitch.
You needed to listen to him.
I didn't go that far away. I went like across the room. If he can't handle it, that's just he needs a lot of hand holding.
I mean, I feel like you were in a like a statue park full of men with machine guns. I feel like it's not a conversation he wants to be shouting across.
This is a weird park. Let's be honest. This is a weird park. There's like living rooms in the park. It's not just a statue park. It's a strange place.
Almost a metaphor, Marty. It's almost a metaphor.
It's almost a metaphor. Frost, do we have any more super chats as we near the end of our?
Oh yeah, we got tons
of this.
Sorry,
insane asylum.
Yeah. We got 100 biddies. Willow week is over. Happy Will New week. I have only seen part 1, but shout out to Dune's soundtrack. Lovely stuff here.
Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer and the Zimettes.
Him himself. Yeah. He is him.
I want to shout out Sicario and Enemy as kind of like 2 Villeneuve films that I really like.
I did a full Villeneuve rewatch leading up to Dune 2.
Did you do the original? Did you do the French-Canadian films?
I did. Incendies. I did Enemy. Incendies is...
Enemy.
No. Incendies... Enemy's the big spider one, but Incendies is he has a 2-stage career. So like he has an early career where he does like the school shooting movie. I can't remember what it's called.
Nope, I started with Incendies and then I went to Enemy and Prisoner and Arrival, and I was like, I feel like I did it. In Sicario, and I was like, I feel like I did it.
Okay, so I think you got the second wave of Villeneuve, which is its own thing. What was it called? August 32nd on Earth and Polytechnic. That's the one I'm thinking. Polytechnic.
I didn't even know those existed. I feel like I went to his Wikipedia and went to the notable films tab, but didn't go to the all films tab.
Well, you gotta unlock the whole filmography. Sometimes you even have to read in their like early life. It's like their actual first film was a small student project like that. I don't think they mention those. Do they count?
He does little secret.
For Nolan, if you look in his biography, it'll say he's got like 2 other films that are not.
That one movie doesn't count. Like Following counts. I don't think the ones that he's like hidden from society don't. If I'm doing
Larceny, Doodlebug.
If I'm doing a rewatch, skipping those is fine. I would say.
Given that one of them doesn't exist. But given that one of them does not exist, you would have to break into David Julien's house and find a VCR player to watch it. I feel like it's perfectly legitimate. Yeah.
Challenge yourself.
I'm not against it.
Find a VCR. Like, I don't carry a VCR on me when I... Why does this thing just say gag?
When do you break into noted British composer David Julien's house?
Yeah, what's he going to do? Come at me with his cello? I can get away with that one. It's 200 biddies from Lampy. Were you expecting to get so much sass from the film critic about the game this stream, Marty?
Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate the sass. I mean, I admittedly have been failing missions because I was not paying attention. So that's on me.
So you need to find Sean Bean. Let's hope he hasn't been and gone.
Sean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm probably not gonna finish this one by the. Oh, there's a nice little statue here.
Oh yeah. We're there. Darren and Super Eye Patch Wolf collab episode when Marty would freak out.
We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
Ooh.
Let him have it.
Oh, do we know Super Eye Patch Wolf?
No.
We've
found out about it. I think you failed.
I think you failed, Darren. I think you failed. 3 minutes. Fuck.
The watch does.
Fuck. That's such a short amount of time. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Frost, keep reading super chats. Maybe we can end the stream in 3 minutes and I won't fail.
Old Hunter,
you got a shotgun.
What? No, we don't need that. That's not the film. Well done. Old Hunter, $4.99. Darren and Marty, can you discuss why you didn't like Anatomy of a Fall? Looking forward to the return of Recap. Also, have you seen Love Lies Bleeding?
I have not seen Love Lies Bleeding. I'm so excited for it.
Yet? I don't think it's out yet. I think it's
only I loved her first film. I loved her first film. Saint Maud.
Yeah. To be clear, I really enjoyed Anatomy of a Fall. I just think it was an incredible year for Best Picture nominees, and so I enjoyed the other ones more. I really enjoyed Anatomy of a Fall. Listen, hearing the steel drum version of PIMP. Great moment.
What? Is that really?
Like
it's a major
plot point of the
PIMP.
movie, and you hear it several times. A
God.
steel drum, non-vocal version of PIMP.
That should have been the playoff music at the Oscars. Like, to be honest, like it should have been like as soon as you start going over, they start playing PIMP on steel drum. My issue, I thought it was very well made. I thought it was, a very easy watch. As you said, it was a very good year for Best Picture nominees. I don't think any of them were bad. My big issue with it is that it feels a little bit very French, I say, in a way that sounds very pejorative, but in a kind of a there are no crimes in art way, where I'm watching this and I'm going, this feels like the work of a film industry that's like, I like still making movies with Roman Polanski, and I'm like, I don't know.
Hey, maybe Gerard Depardieu deserves a second. Nope, he doesn't. Doesn't, Prince.
And I mean, that's just me. I'm not casting any aspersions or any judgment, but that was the bit that was in the back of my mind. All I could hear was Kevin Spacey looking at me saying, there are no crimes in art. Also, did the dog do it? That's the question.
Oh, I love the theory that the dog did it with the ball bouncing down the stairs.
Yeah.
Great dog, too.
Messy, yep.
Yeah.
He clapped. He clapped for.
I saw it, yeah.
Good for him.
I saw.
You're still looking for the helicopter, aren't
No,
you?
I'm not doing anything. I was
What's your
hoping
watch
Frost
say?
was going to finish the super chats. I'm not doing my watch. I thought that we were going to get done with the super chats, and we haven't.
Don't look at Marty. We got Mr. Prody, $2. Will you ever do a podcast like the recap?
Never. Yes, it's literally
Never.
Yes.
I'm doing it right now.
We are relaunching an entertainment podcast. I don't want to put any specific time frames because that's how people get disappointed. This is just a man. Who is this? This is just like finding Jesus on like
Bradley Cooper. Yeah.
Jesus on a piece of toast.
Let's see. Nick Knoll, $10. Darren, can you cast a movie using only the lesser of three siblings? Andrew Wilson, Luke Hemsworth, directed by Matthew Nolan. Is that possible? Do you think the lesser siblings should?
Matthew Nolan cannot direct.
I'm about to say. I feel like the director is a big challenge there.
Yeah. Is there like a third Scott brother who could direct it?
But can you do it?
Should you do it is a different question. I think you look okay. So Luke Wilson and Luke Hemsworth are both good. I think you could do that.
But Luke isn't the third. Luke is the second Wilson brother. It would be Andrew Wilson.
Oh, good point.
Right.
Okay, so Liam Hemsworth is your star basically here. That's your power.
Liam Hemsworth is your star. Is there a third? Is there like a third Cohen or a third Farrelly?
No, but they're saying lesser of three.
Yeah,
lesser.
That's why we got to find the third of these films. Get Billy Baldwin. So Billy Baldwin stars.
Do you get to pick one of the Olsen twins by default? I guess
you get that. Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine.
Now you're gaming.
Now we're doing good.
Like this.
You do get. How do you pick the third worst Baldwin? That is a question.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is there a third Gleason, like a second son Gleason who's not Damal?
Well, there's Donal and there's Brian, but I don't think there's a third, unfortunately.
Okay.
Brian is the one who you get if you can't get Donal.
Okay, so maybe he is the lesser Gleason, because obviously Brendan is Gleason Prime, and Domal.
So if you're going like that, can you get Emilio Estevez because you have Martin and Charlie
that's
Sheen?
Great. Yeah, absolutely.
Now we're loading up the
data.
Now we're cooking. Now I think we have a budget of like around like $100,000. I think we can get us up to $1 million if we get this pitch together properly.
If you dig into the Coppola family, you could have like Roman Coppola direct it. Like, okay.
That's Nicolas Cage. I think is technically there, right? Nicolas Cage is like, and then we're sold. Like it's like Nicolas Cage is the third Coppola, and we are sold.
Yeah.
We
can make this in Eastern Europe for like $500,000. It'll be great.
Yeah. We'd film this in Corky. And then SBS €5, like in The Predator, where the lead points to some motorbike and says, "Get to the choppers." A little pun action for you there. Fungus, $2. New topic: basketball. Great film or greatest film? I haven't seen basketball in a very long time.
I haven't seen it in 20 years. I was a fan of it at the time because I was a huge South Park fan when it first came out. Because I was just old enough to be able to watch it, but also young enough to be like, "Oh my god, this is so transgressive." Yeah. I don't know if basketball.
Did your countdown just stop? Did it not fail you? Does it not?
I think I have failed the mission, but it is letting me play in the liminal space of this abandoned playground.
It's become a daycare for just out here while you're waiting for the wife to get ready to get going. Fungus, not $2. Let's change gears. How good was Harold and Maude?
another movie I have not seen in a very long time.
That is the one. Yes.
I watched it in a film class in college, and I remember not being as enthralled by it as everyone else in the class was. But I was kind of in like a pretentious period then. But also, I feel like that should have meant I should have liked the movie. So I don't know. Have you seen Harold and Maude, Darren?
I have. It's one of those movies where I feel like I should probably rewatch it before like commenting on it. But I remember thinking it was fine.
Yeah.
Like again, it's Hal Ashby. Like it's one of the great unsung directors of the 1970s, and it's Bud Cord. Like I really need to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's see here. And then Carlos Fontes, $10. This might be a hot take, but I thought GoldenEye 007 Reloaded was a really fun update of this game for the COD era. I loved MI6 Ops, such a fun mode with tons of mods, paintball headshots only. Ooh.
Yeah, I liked it as well. It's in the, again, not saying a lot, but it's in the upper echelon of Bond games, in my opinion, which there have been a lot of Bond games, and a lot of them have been pretty bad, but I thought 007 Reload or GoldenEye Reload and Nightfire were two of the better ones recently.
Is GoldenEye Reload the one with the Daniel Craig in GoldenEye game? Oh, hey, there's your chopper. Oh, is she dead inside it?
Yeah, she's dead. Oh. Yeah, we don't talk about the helicopter.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about it. Okay. We will live inside the model of the helicopter.
She dies for our super chat.
That might have been, or it might have been Blood. There was one that had the word blood in it. Bloodstone.
Okay.
That's a kidney stone.
That's a kidney stone. You know what? We're going to end by going through. We're going to go through the BJ. Did I say kidney stones?
And the last biddies, 100 biddies. Let's drag the stream out to run down the timer. Can we get Darren, Marty collab on Evangelion and Garen Lagan? Both insane shows. Big Bill weeb shit, no?
A little weeb shit. I wanted it when we bring back the entertainment podcast. I wanted to do, especially during like slower months, kind of like a book club thing where we say, hey, we're going to talk about. Pick something that's digestible, and then say, "Hey, this week we're going to talk about episodes 1 through 6. Next week we're going to talk about episodes, that kind of thing." So, I don't know what shows that would be, but stuff like Evangelion that'd be a fun one to do, all in due time.
There we go.
I mean, like, I'm not a weeb. I'm not at all familiar with anime, but I've seen Evangelion. Like, it's universal. It kind of transcends that. It's like the Miyazaki movies.
Yeah, it's great. It's great, especially if you like folks cranking it in hospitals.
Oh,
I'm excited that I get to watch that in a packed theater. That'll be great,
and feel the discomfort in real time.
It'll be wonderful. I'll bring my Dune popcorn bucket.
I feel like that you make it sound like it happens more than once over the course of 20 episodes, 2 feature films, and a complete reboot franchise. Like, all you need to know about this series is it's all about cranking it in hospital rooms.
Listen, a guy cranks it once in front of someone in a coma, and suddenly that becomes their identity. We did it. Was that it? Oh my God, we did it.
Yeah,
I'm so incredibly proud of us. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into this nonsense. Yeah, we'll make these. We'll organize another one of these as we set up the official Return of Entertainment Podcast 2.0. We'll do another one. Oh, we were talking about in a couple weeks is the Matrix anniversary. Yes. And we thought it'd be fun to do maybe this with Enter the Matrix, which. That could be fun, and then we have
which is necessary for you to understand the second Matrix movie, if I remember.
Unlike the
correctly,
GoldenEye game, that thing will actually inform what happens for the rest of the Matrix. And then we have the 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace coming up in May, so all sorts of good stuff about that. But Darren, what do you have going on? What should folks check out on your end? Where can folks find you?
I'm at Darren_Mooney on Twitter or whatever that's called now. I'm on Blue Sky as well, though I don't use that as much as I should. I write at the Patreon 3 articles a week, which is pretty cool. So yesterday I wrote about Wes Anderson. Today I wrote about
Coens.
What did I write about today?
The individual Coens.
The Coens. I wrote about the two separate Coens. Later in the week I'll be writing about the Oscars, and I will also be writing about Dune 2 because I love Dune 2 so much. Yeah. And every second week, myself and Jesse Schwab and Omar Ahmed, we work on a show called The Backdrop that's out, I believe, on Mondays or Tuesdays, depending on the schedule. So you can check that out every fortnight. But yeah, that's what I'm at. That's what I'm up to. It's good.
Heck yeah. Frost, what do you got going on?
Go watch the old Cold Take. It's a good one on Balatro, my latest obsession. Yeah, 100 hours into a game that's noteworthy, I'd say.
That's a lot. 100 hours into a game that has only been out for a few weeks is impressive.
Only been out for a few weeks, and each round's like 30 minutes. Yeah, I've got played a couple of hands, Mr. Bond. That last hand almost killed me.
Do you think that they should remake Casino Royale and it's just Balatro at the table?
I think so. They should, yes. And it's not even like no one's there. It's just a virtual gambling machine, and James Bond's very introverted.
I love it.
You've seen Never Say Never, right? They literally have that. That was
is
the one
true.
that came out in, I think it was 86.
Yeah.
Where they have like the sweaty palm on the video game.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. See, Bond for me.
Yeah, finally.
We got to reach the kids somehow with our 60-year-old Sean Connery.
A Bond for all of us. I love it. Excellent. Then Frost, you'll be back tomorrow at noon. You and Jamaid will be back. Sponsored stream for Lullaby of Life. And then in 45 minutes, I'll be back with Nick. Nick is officially back from his adventures. He's going to be streaming Lost Epoch. The Lost Epoch.
Isn't it?
The last epoch. There's really no way to know. I don't know what the game's called. I don't know what either word of the two word naming. Last Epoch. I think it's called Last Epoch.
Final Age, Last Epoch.
There's really no way to know. GoldenEye.
Ultimate Period.
Exactly. So we'll be starting that probably 45 minutes. Nick said he might be 15 minutes late because of an appointment. So regardless, we should be starting that in an hour. And then one final super chat before we go from Carlos. Thank you so much for the $5 dono. GoldenEye and Bloodstone released on the same day. I like the new plot. 006 wanted to use the GoldenEye satellite to screw the banks after the '08 crash. I like that. Finally.
Is there any way you could join 006 on that plot? Like, it feels like I don't know if I want to pull the trigger on the guy who's like holding the banks to it.
Yeah, this is like how to blow up a pipeline where I'm like, oh no, these are the good guys. Yeah, I want to follow this. But yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in on Twitch and on YouTube. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Frost. Thank you, Darren. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your afternoons and evenings, and we'll see you back here in 45 minutes or so for Last Epoch. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Oh.